let's go ahead and switch that. Cool. I can turn off the what's its face now. Comments. Yeah, if you can double over that because I have to double back into a different. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so fuck it. We got some time. I'm just waiting on Cal to come back. I did not expect this. I wasn't even in my room. I got to turn on the air conditioning and shit. It's actually hot here. We're not getting any flooding. We're not getting this guy. That guy's an asshole. You can ignore him. Yeah, I'll turn on some air. I took Mikey Beach of Life suggestion and tried this with my Mac instead of my super expensive computer. And man, what the fuck is the purpose of this big ass computer? It can't video for shit. This thing's doing like a solid, respectable 720p. My Alienware is like 3 racks on sale. And like, I think that shit broadcasts in like 140i. Like you could probably see the full definition on a fucking Game Boy screen. I forgot that I could do this. Yeah. What are we up to today? We allowed to don't subscribe. This is just a distraction, a smoke screen. I'm hoping Cal comes back. I'm gonna end it immediately. Bet. There we go. Sweet aircon. So anyway, what were we talking about beforehand? Infrastructure, am I right? I feel like I thought infrastructure was a much more concrete thing. My walls aren't dirty. I have wallpaper. I swear I'm not out here living a filthy miscreant life. I got that good 2000s era Marriott wallpaper in the office. It does need a replacement soon. This place was built in 2017, but we're on the ocean. So, like, the outside of it is like you can feel this place has gotten the shit slapped out of it by salt for almost a decade. So, that is a little bit of a bummer, but we actually got some nice weather out. If I can get the internet to do what I want, I might move to outside. The problem is I have a mesh. So if I move my laptop from here to the other side, because this is about 200 square meters. So the one internet thing, the router in the living room was not getting back here. So I have an extender, but the extender is like weird, where if I go from there to here, you'll see like a little click over. And if I go from here to there, it's usually smooth. How are the monsoon seasons in Vietnam? I live in central Vietnam for reference. So let's see if I can show you a quick little map. I'll give you an idea of where I am. And also to keep people from being like, oh, I'm in Saigon. Come hang out. Because nah, that's not happening. So Da Nang, I'll zoom out a couple of times so I don't immediately expose my actual home location. Sure. Do some. No, that's fine. Let's see if it can do it without a quit out. Messenger. Here we go. Bang. So, bring that over here. Does which layouts, or am I like trash at this? Oh, here we go. So it's gonna be a little tough to see, but basically, here you go. Here's Vietnam. Yes, Hanoi, main city of the north, really close to China. A lot of people sleep on that. Ho Chi Minh, really close to Phnom Penh. This border's a-okay. I'm fine. Nothing bad's happening to me. This border's fucked in the ass. Don't go there. You'll die. Da Nang, as its region suggests, is right in the center of Vietnam. So it's right here in the middle. It's shortest flight from Manila is actually here. It takes about 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then These are the two areas that get the shit beat out of them by storm systems. So generally, coming down the West Philippine Sea, then sweeping into Ho Chi Minh, or coming from the Andaman and then pushing through, usually south. We do get rain here, but like the last major storm system, for example, it landed like around here, up in space and shit. Um, it's where is Blizzard? He's. I'm gonna text him actually because y'all are about to get me yelled. Last time he made me feel really bad about doing the test stream and not saying anything, just going on live. And if I do it twice, it is going to kind of seem like I'm doing it on purpose. Yo, I'm on live. Just wanted to give you fair warning. All right, we covered that. Let's see. I'll show you the weather. If you guys lose me for half a second, I didn't Calvin. I promise. I'm gonna walk this to the other side of the house. Um, so yeah, I live in the middle of Da Nang. I live right next to the airport. I'll actually see if I can get a clip of it while we're walking around. I live in Haichao. Most of the tourist stuff, videos you'll see on YouTube, etc., about Da Nang. We're gonna go through my bathroom here to get to my second balcony. I have three. One is the room my girlfriend's sleeping in. Can't do that. One is essentially my washing machine balcony, hence the washing machine. And this gives you the best view of airport, which is right there. A little bit of water. We got a little bit of rain earlier. Not too much though. We might get another few minutes later on. That's this one. We'll go ahead and keep walking. What city do I recommend for a first timer? Ho Chi Minh only. It depends on what you're coming to Vietnam for. So hear me out. If you're a food person and you're really just trying to eat everything that's in sight, oh right, it rained on the table out here, so I'll probably have to pour some water off of this. Um, it actually caught on fire the other night. We were getting homesick. We made Filipino style sugba, so pork barbecue. But I have an electric grill. We used fire, but I was being dumb and didn't really look, and I got a nice little burn mark in my cheap plastic table for my troubles. Ho Chi Minh is a great place if you're looking for Western stuff. If you already live in Asia and you're looking for like a meal that reminds you of home, but you also want good Vietnamese food, I think Ho Chi Minh's a good look. Hanoi is more of a city for business, honestly. A lot of nice cultural stuff up there, but the drive is a pain. It's a very old city. It's built around like French colonial bones, and it feels like it. And as a result, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to navigate, especially if you're all the way some up where in like Westlake and you want to go down to like the bun cha place that Obama made famous. You're on a journey. Da Nang, as you can probably see, it's not that clear of a day, but this is Da Nang. It's actually pretty centralized. As some of you war buffs are probably aware, this was a small fishing village when the American War of Aggression in Vietnam occurred, and as a result, you have a lot of new construction here. A lot of the city is actually drawn out in a very straightforward way. If you look directly behind me, it's probably tough to see. This little guy is a Ferris wheel, and that's the main avenue heading to the main monument. There's definitely smog. Not to the mostly in like Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi. Hanoi especially. Hanoi, you're just south of China, so you got the smog pushing down from there. In addition to all the fun storm systems, so Hanoi actually gets really, really gray, like really unfun gray. We might get a little bit of rain. Like I said, we got about 45 minutes yesterday. Coincidentally, both times I came out and smoked. I'm wearing my Easy Cart shirt today in support of there's a buffoonery happening in Cambodia. I don't know if you guys are super well read on Southeast Asia, but the Hun family, Hun Sen and his dumbass kid, um, are both political strongmen. They're generally responsible for a lot of the reason it's been so goofy in Cambodia in the post Khmer Rouge years. And as a result, they've really been trying to consolidate public interest back in the party because they're connected to a lot of this scam center stuff that's going on right now in the Golden Triangle. As a result, they kind of needed something nice and distracting to talk about, and that brought us to the current border dispute. These lands have been disputed territory for decades now. There have been like some little scuffles, but until recently, uh, it's been pretty gross. So, I mean, it's been pretty genial until it got gross very recently with the digging of landmines and stuff. So as a result, it kind of seems like it's a ploy to distract Cambodians from the fact that you want to talk about bad infra. Um, yeah, some of the stuff they're going through. It's just wild though because, like, I don't know if you guys know, Cambodia does not have jets, like at all, like at all. Like so that's like me picking a fight with Debo, knowing I have a broken pinky on one wrist. I mean on one hand. It's very interesting to see where this is going to go. A lot of people are making the argument Cambodia is trying to provoke Thailand into some sort of incident so they can make a stronger claim in the ICJ against that disputed territory. Um, I don't know if that's the truth. It's not a fair fight, no, but the flip side, Cambodia started playing dirty really early on. They've already bombed civilian targets, and they found new landmines. The evidence of that being that there are no weeds in the area these landmines were buried, the labeling and tagging. Because what's crazy, weapons of war that are effective get used forever. They've been using more or less the same landmines since the 80s, since the end of the Khmer Rouge. But these are a new issue of that landmine. So yeah, it's crazy, crazy times. Did Calvin come back yet? Is he gone? This was kind of for funsies, but like now I'm like, oh, we might have actually no Sunshine Shoulders. Is he back yet? No. All right, I was just checking. That's kind of wild. Brody really up and got interneted from the internet. Um, Via or Asian food instead. Hey, thank you for the 6 subscribers. You guys might be really hurt. Let me text Cal. I have Cal's, which is one of these phones. He might have actually said something. Let me double check. Dun, dun, dun. Calvin. Oh, last thing is from W. Hey, while I'm here, I just want to clarify something. I made some comments about Eartha Kitt in her prime that has now made W swear that I'm just out here trying to bag like ultra cougars. Please don't allow him to propagate that narrative. Thank you. Cal, are you good? All right, we're gonna see if Cal is good. Also, I'm gonna go get my headphones because, as you guys can probably tell, there's a lot of background traffic. If not, we'll hang around for 22 minutes until I get bored and need to take a smoke. Oh, you know what? I don't have shit going on. Let's where's how do I invite here? Cisco always has something interesting to say, or barring that, something irritating to say, which can trigger something interesting to say. I'll be right back. Let's see. Any luck? All right. Yeah, cool. It connected. Good job, me. So, or anybody really. I don't really have much of anything to say. This was kind of a joke. I wanted to more or less see if I could do it before Calvin popped back up on the internet. But now that he's like still not here, kind of threw my game off a bit, and I really didn't really have a follow up for after I put the thing there. Wait, what? Oh wow, are we talking about ancient baddies? Are we talking ancient a little bit? Classic. Let's go classic. Because I'm not that far away in age. Classic baddies. Eartha Kitt, definitely. Uh, Esther from Stanford and Son, Thelma. I'm a little for me like it probably starts at like light skin Aunt Viv. Don't get me wrong, I prefer dark skin Aunt Viv as a character, but I would say light skin Aunt Viv was definitely like the first like hmm. I'm trying to think who else who's a lead. There's Cisco. There he is.
What
I knew
up?
you had some comments in there somewhere.
Okay, let me start this off right.
Hmm?
Thailand destroys Vietnam and Philippines. Prove me wrong.
North Korea is actually the best of those four countries. And let me tell you why. You want to talk about unblemished infrastructure, brother? You want to talk about no cars on the road? Every phone call goes through, every delivery gets delivered. If you only have 100 of each of those things a day, you're fine.
I'd
Thank you.
say, yeah, North Korea, hands down. North
North
Korea is the
Korea.
new Philippines. You heard it right here, folks.
North Korea is the new Philippines, and basically because this happened due to Calvin going offline, you can directly cite him for having said it. Calvin said North Korea is the new Philippines. Good talk, everyone. I'm glad
Uh,
I was able to dodge responsibility.
now that we got that settled, I would say, I would ask you this, bro. I know that's your spot right now. Is that a
Hmm.
place you see yourself living long term, or is it just a spot for right now?
Just a spot for right now. I've been, I tell you, boy, I've been looking for the better part of a decade to try to figure out if I really feel like forever about a place. Not even forever, just forever ish. And what I've learned is every place has its pros and every place has its cons. And some of those cons are seasonal and that you can dodge them, during, let's say, the wet season or the dry season.
Mm,
Some of them are positional. Um, the Philippines will always make it difficult to travel to other countries because it doesn't directly border another country by land.
yeah.
Um, and then you have societal. Like I love Thailand, but Thailand is also full of assholes. That's the thing we never. Calvin never asked me. We talk about infrastructure all day. Never talk about the people. Thailand has a higher asshole quotient than the rest of the expat places, specifically Bangkok and to a lesser extent Pats. But let's be frank, about
Okay,
eighty
that's what I
percent.
was gonna say. You're talking about expats, though. You're not talking about,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely expats for sure. No, no, no. Thais are chill. Thais are great. Don't get in a drunken fight with them. A lot more of them know Muay Thai than even the memes would suggest. But no, no. Thai people are super chill. Vietnamese are pretty cool. The Filipinos are easiest to talk to as an English speaker, but I think in terms of trying to get something done, it's probably a little bit easier with a Thai person of equivalent language proficiency, if that makes any sense.
Because I mean, you're a young guy, and I know one of the things, if I could go back in time, I definitely would have prepared. I feel comfortable right now, but I definitely would have prepared more, financially for when I get older, because I actually didn't believe I was going to get old back in the day. But now that I realize that I am, yeah, I wish I could go back. I mean, and that's something I think about right now. If I could go back and tell myself, a lot of stuff, that's one of the things I would say. Get yourself set up financially, and then find a nice place to retire that you can be comfortable, have some dignity, have some of the things you like, and that's it. And that's why I was saying, for you, long term, I mean, I know it's a long way off, but are you thinking about it? Where do you want to end up?
I think about it a lot, and a lot of it, and a lot of me moving around consistently is like heat checking these places, right?
Mm,
Like Thailand. I've lived in Thailand. I've lived in Philippines. I've lived in Vietnam. I've spent a month plus at a time in Indonesia and Malaysia. Um, Less related to this situation, Japan. Well, I've lived in Japan. I've spent like a good chunk of time in Korea, but all those places, it's like it's tough for me to like really settle on what's the best situationally for me because there are so many little pieces of it. Like for a long time, I was pretty sure Thailand wouldn't be it for me because you can't really like hard retire in Thailand originally until 55, now until 50. Um,
mm,
but the medical marijuana thing, obviously that changed my opinion about it, but now that's
right.
changing again, right? So that shifted that around. KL, I thought for a while that KL might not be the wave for me, but I actually went to Kuala Lumpur and spent like a week and change there, and suddenly I can see it potentially being part of the future. So that's really what I'm just doing. I'm doing a lot of sampling. I'm gonna
Yeah,
quickly
Malaysia.
touch.
Malaysia is intriguing. I mean, I've never been. It's intriguing. I don't know a lot about it, but every time I see it, it's something interesting. It's something beautiful.
Highly recommended. Chill folks, a former British colony. They speak a lot more English than people give them credit for. Just Malay is a little more internationally intelligible. Somebody asked why expats in Thailand are assholes versus expats in the Phils. Let's get it straight. I'm sure there are assholes everywhere. For me, Thailand, for all of the gripe I give Calvin, I do think that Thai expats have some weirder, especially let's say pre-pandemic Thai expats have a greater sense of entitlement than other OG expats in the place. And you got to consider this is a place where new expats have been coming more or less nonstop for the last 55 or so years. But every single week in Thailand, you'll meet some guy that's got it unlocked and you don't understand it, but he's got it figured out. And the secret is to do this and not that, and go left and
Hmm.
not right. And then a week or two later, bro is single and mad again, and you're like, I don't think that he had it. I don't think he had it at all. There are a lot of people LARPing in Thailand. There are a lot of people pretending that they got that shit figured out, but they don't. So that's a big part of it for me. Is It's just Philippine expats. Like expats in the Phils are mostly centered to AC. I want to say maybe 90% of the assholes I've met in the Philippines have been directly within like the boundaries or surrounding areas of Angeles. So
And
like,
that's got to be because those particular guys are looking for a particular thing.
true.
Those type of guys are looking for a particular thing.
and and that kind of clicks into what Thomas Marshall is asking. Don't tie. Why you see all these Thai dudes, or why do you see all these Bart girls with ties? Really, it depends on where you're looking. If you're looking in Pats or Jomtien, then I mean, let's keep it trill. The majority of the women that have come from other parts of Thailand to like look for a new life or look for a new man, they're not. There's not enough nail salons or masseuse or massage parlors for those two things to be the main thing they're doing. They're mostly bar girls. It is what it is, and how you take that is on you. And it's worth noting you can catch a lot of different stages of bar girl. We're not going to get super duper into this because this isn't a Thailand vlog, but like I've been going to Thailand since I was 19. Uh, I've seen the vast majority of bar girl types. I'm not about to tell you that I was out there 19, 20 years old trying to sell Bibles. Like I was out there looking for some ass.
Reading
And
books.
reading. I was a voracious reader, my man. The library couldn't get rid of me. But you have different types. So you have girls that have just come from the countryside. They mostly from Isan. There are other parts of Thailand, but as far as population moving to Chonburi, it's mostly like Isan girls. So you have country girls that they've been in the business for a week or two. They've like they've suddenly gone from I've touched two ding dongs in my entire life to now I'm on my like 40th. And I don't think I like this. And a lot of those girls, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks in, are looking for a captain to save them, so to speak.
Hmm.
They're so you do run into like these people that don't know a lot of English. They don't know a lot about even the area you're in. That are province girls essentially. Same way as when you go to AC, you'll notice a strange amount of the girls are from like only a handful of regions in the Philippines. They'll be from like Bohol, or like that's other little spot that's at the very bottom of Luzon. I forget the name of, but you have like people come from certain areas for certain things, right? Same way all black people from the South came to the West Coast for like metalworking and World War II jobs. But you have different stages. Some of those girls don't get saved. Most of those girls, the vast, vast, vast majority of those girls don't get saved. So you get a year or two in, you start looking for a Westerner boyfriend because you're spending all your time in the club doing a bunch of drinking, doing partying, trying to get, short times or long times. You start to get into that lifestyle. If you're a little country girl, that might be interesting for you. Some of them are immediately going to rebound from that. But by the 2 to 6 month Samar, that's the one I was thinking of. Thank you, brother. Samar province. They're like it's people come from certain places because everybody from those places are telling them. If you go to Bali, you'll realize a lot of the masseuses are from East Java, like inland East Java. If you go to Thailand, it's Isan. Um, Interestingly, if you go to other countries right now, it's here. Vietnam, that's starting to become a bit of an export, much to the chagrin of some other countries.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's crazy. But my point is, you can a lot of these girls get with. You should look at it reverse. It's not that all these Thai dudes are getting with bar girls. It's that the majority of bar girls that you're seeing with boyfriends are Westerners, and that's because if you're a Thai with a bar girlfriend, you would keep that shit on the low if she's not keeping it on the low already. And B, it's generally not a good look for everybody else that knows you because face is a very important concept here in Southeast Asia, and if your girlfriend's out here blowing dicks for money, you lose a ton of face, just as a rule of thumb,
Go figure.
right? But
Crazy.
yeah, yeah, it's wild though. You meet a lot of middle ground though, and it's not to say that if you're a foreigner and expat that you can't find a bar girl, but you have to also think about it. A lot of cats that are first time Thailand expats, they've either been through a divorce or an uncoupling. They trend on the older side. I was the youngest guy in like my group in Thailand for the first maybe 10 years I was there until like other 30-year-olds started popping up like in the late teens. So like you got a lot of different levels of that shit. And some of those girls like they're just looking for normalcy. That's the loop, right? They date a foreigner for a while, they hang out, they eat off his money, chill on the AC, use the Wi-Fi. Eventually, the foreigner gets burnt out on Thailand and then leaves. We bring in a new foreigner. There are some girls that live in Bangkok or live in Bangkok Pat's Jomtien that just live that cycle over and over again, year through year. So it's not a why you see them; it's just a why you see certain ones with foreigners. And that's just because it's the lifestyle. It's a status symbol to a lesser degree too. Especially one of these YouTube guys that wants to like ball out and show like everybody on YouTube how cool or hot their girlfriend is. Then a lot of
Yeah,
times, yeah,
exactly.
they lean bar girl, and they definitely lean girls that are going to be a little more, you know, uh,
Open.
yeah, open. We'll leave it at that. But I mean, that's anywhere. You run that all over the place. I see dudes in the Philippines make the same wave, especially AC Manila, AC Manila, Makati, BGC. You have to understand, BGC, Makati, Ayala, Alabang girls. For the most part, don't date foreigners. They don't have. They can afford not to. And B, if they do, it's a very certain type of foreigner that they're looking for. Um, I'll keep it lit. They're looking for an Instagrammable foreigner. They want somebody that's either one of two things, either the Instagrammable foreigner or the invisible sponsor. They want somebody that they can have in their pictures that's going to look nice, and they're wearing matchy matchy. Has still has the arm back string to lift them in the princess carry for the photos. Understands social media enough to do memes with them. Is willing to go out and buy bottle service at the Palace or wherever the fuck wealthy people hang out in Manila these days. I don't know. I'm all 8 years removed, but like, there's a certain lifestyle. I know because I have other friends that are well off that are based in Manila, and they date within a very specific kind of circle. It's a very they're not going out and dating, Marcy from Tondo or Maria Rose from Parañaque. Like they're dating kind of like almost the same girl. So it's inevitable that you see a few repeats. And you can say that about most, society or most aspects of society, right? You get to a certain social circle, those people only, intermingle with a certain class of outsiders in addition to like their own ecosphere.
Oh, of course. I mean, they can afford to be picky, so they do.
Right. And that's you can't say that about. I mean, you can say that about most places. So I don't really give them too much of a knock for it. But then it's like there is a medium to that. Like I feel like a lot of guys see that and hear that, and they go, "Oh, I gotta date like a province jungle bunny." Which, no offense to anybody you date, I've dated and have been rejected by some super elite baddies from that part of the country. But realistically speaking, there's only really so many, Mary Sue's from, Saint insert Saint Here's province or barangay that are interested in foreigners. Because for them, there's a high cliff too, right? It's also a class thing. Just for you, you have to be the guy that can go rent or own like a nice car in the Philippines. You got to stay at a nice place. You got to go to the right places. Like that might seem like a high barrier to entry for you. For her, being what you mean, she has to speak English. She has to go to cities other than the town or big town that she grew up near. She's theoretically going to have to interact with other expats, girlfriends. So there's a lot of that. Like you got to find a medium with all things. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Is like I meet these guys that get miserable because they went full city girl. I meet these guys that go miserable because they went full provincial. But it's like you're kind of accepting what comes with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's some awkward, I mean, couples that you see on these on some of these channels, and you just wonder like, what the hell's going on here? And I mean, again, I haven't spent enough time there to really be able to analyze and have a very intelligent opinion on it, other than what I just see on YouTube. So I pretty much try to keep my mouth shut about it. But I mean, I do see that a lot of these couples you see, they're just awkward, and it's not about the age. It's just you know I mean, aside from the financial aspect, again, it's not even about the age, but just aside from the financial aspect, there's nothing going on there. There's nothing in common there. I mean, they have nothing to talk about. They have nothing to really build on
Yeah.
conversationally.
I
It's weird. I don't see how that kind of life is appealing to most Filipinas. I mean, I don't get. Like I said, the money aspect. Okay, I get it, but apart from that, I mean, I don't get it. It's a
I
lot. It's a
mean, for
lot to put
some,
yourself out there.
yeah. I mean, how much is putting yourself out there worth though, depending on the situation you're in. Like, there are a lot of like for a lot of girls, that dopey foreigner that strolled into town, uh, until they're a small town or they're barangay, that's a once in a lifetime shot. So it's like some of these girls, they don't even you're not even getting a chance to think, is this the right fit for me? Is he a good match? Will he treat me well? Uh, you're kind of having to go just off rip.
You're just trying to hook them.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of these girls, they're not even like, a lot of it's introductions, right? You may not even know what bro looks like. your cousin might come to you and say, "Oh my God, I just my friend he knows a foreigner and he's very successful and he seems very charming and like or they won't use that the one is he seems like he's a very good man and very kind and generous." Will be like the trigger flags and be like, you should go meet him, and they might meet, bro, sight unseen. And if you're in a situation where if I don't bag this dude, I have to worry about whether or not we're gonna be able to pay our shared meter with like our neighbors or whatever next week, then you're already going into it hot. You're coming in hot, right? So it's like by the time some of these dudes are in relationships, they look back and they're like, "Wait, I didn't even game her up. How did this happen?" Because
Yeah,
that's my thing. If you don't have to put any effort into it, then you have to have a serious conversation about what attracted that person in the first place.
and
If
that's
I
what
come
these
up
guys are
with
looking for.
zero, exactly, because a lot of these guys, 0%
No
risk,
game.
which is which is fine, but you gotta find you a nice little gameless ass game goofy girl, and there are plenty of those out here. There are plenty of yuck yuck types out there. They're not like dumb as or anything. They're not especially educated in the ways of like the
Yeah,
modern
it's not sophisticated
socializing
in that
dating
way.
scene. Yeah, and shit. A lot of times that's what you want. If I was like I don't. There's a meet. Like I know. I'm a very. I guess. What's the word? Wishy washy person when it comes to like settling on extremes. But there are perfectly fine kind of middle of the road girls that are like from a city or, but they're not like entirely materialized or they're from the province, but they haven't just kept their faces underneath like a rock for the last however many years. Like they're good. There's medium stuff out there. I don't want to self-incriminate, but I will say that I've definitely found prime examples of both of those in my time in the area.
I mean, that's
Uh,
what that was Cal's thing, the yummy six.
the yummy sixes out there. Hey,
Hey,
here,
Juice said, how often do you go to Hanoi or Ho Chi?
I mean, once a month or every 2 months or so. Almost never, dog. I think last time I went to Hanoi was January. I think January, and that's just because we were transferring through. And the transfer is at a bad time, so it's like we might as well stay a day, go eat at Buncha Obama, and then we'll worry about heading home the next day. Worked out, no problem.
Are you able to travel around? I mean, not just in Vietnam, but just other places pretty regularly with how your work schedule is?
Yeah, dog. I mean, for one, the airport's right there. That greatly simplifies the situation. I can get from here if I'm working or if I'm online, I can get from here to Thailand in the space of an extended lunch or something like that. So certain
Wow.
areas makes it helpful. A lot of the work I do right now, I'm doing mostly consulting stuff, and that's all exclusively on U.S. time. So most of my work is, uh, you know, dark o'clock anyway. Uh, yeah, if you go to Ho Chi Minh, you got to go to the War Museum. I agree. Same thing with Cambodia. You go to Cambodia, you got to go to S21. You go to Ho Chi Minh, you got to go to the Reunification Palace. I went in 2014 and met some of my first non BPO Filipino friends there. Very interesting. They both work in Europe now, but at the time they were based in the Philippines and still kind of on their post college stuff. And that's those are kind of the first people I learned a bit about like Philippine like HISO from because it's like we vacation with our parents in Switzerland and like the winter to go skiing and da da da. I was like, oh, are y'all from the States? No, no, we're from Manila. Oh, word. And that's kind of
Hmm.
what really, because you see rich Filipinos around, but like I had never really like talked to any before that. And now, this is a decade ago. Now I've had many an encounter with low off Filipinos and a few deliberate avoidances of certain political parties that may have used my old condo building as their national campaign headquarters.
What the
Thanks,
hell?
Bong Bong and Sarah. That was great. I moved out. I moved the entire way out. That's if Bong Bong Marcos and Sarah Duterte move into your building, you're either in the most secure or least secure building in the Philippines, depending on
What
your
the hell?
outlook on things. For me, I wasn't sticking around to find that shit out. So,
Hell
what do you?
no.
Yeah, that's
That's
scary.
something we were talking about. Me and my wife were talking about it, because we play with that idea, about, okay, well, what's our day to day going to be like, if we move to Philippines, what would be, what are we going to do? I mean, aside from, hey, let's go travel here and see this beach. Hey, let's go. We heard about this really cool, tourist spot over here. Let's go to Thailand for a week. Let's go to, whatever, blah blah blah. But once all that shit dies down, which inevitably will,
It
what
will.
what do you do, if you're not working? I mean, what do you do, and how easy is it to make, friends from local people? And I would say this, the difference, what do you feel about the difference between Philippines, Vietnam, in terms of how you're able to like socialize with people, people that are local to the area? Is it
Well,
easier in one place versus the other, and how difficult do you find that to be?
Well, with all three of these people, I mean, with all three of those countries, you really have to think about the socioeconomic barrier that's involved too. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times, what's stopping you from communicating, because all three of those countries have people that speak English. There are people who speak great English here, there, and there. It's meeting them and finding them. That's a bit different situationally. I'll say
Mm,
Thailand has a lot of people that speak service English compared to the other two countries, even
yeah.
compared to the Philippines. It's got more tourism stuff. If you get out in the coastal bumfuck, not central, not interior. Interior bumfuck is still very, very much a bit of a not a no man's land, but a bit of a blank slate. But if you go to the exterior, most places where you could find places that have a couple hotels or a couple beach restaurants or whatever, there's going to be someone to speak English too. Now, are you the type of person that has a conversation with a waiter and then they're like, "Yo, you're super cool. We should hang out." I am. I try to avoid those people. I say no, but I am. So for me, it's easier in scenarios where I'm hanging out at a hotel. I might chat up the night auditor, or I'm at the beach club. I might have strike up a conversation with like the waiter or waitress. So service English is predominant here. Finding people that want to use that service English outside of work is where I feel like the difference shifts. Like
Mm,
Vietnam, you for sure you might know people that know a bit of service English. As soon as they leave their place of work, they're either still really absorbing English and they want to just talk to other people and just learn more English, or they don't want to speak English ever again until they clock back in. There's
yeah.
very little in between. So as a result of that, I have some folks where it's like I see some folks every day and they might give me like a cursory wave. I see some people where I kind of like I might avoid the street sometimes because they want to talk my fucking ear off for 5 minutes, and I have somewhere that I'm trying to go. So it's definitely that's a big part. I'm sorry, I said here, but I meant that in regards to Thailand. Thailand, you get a decent amount of that. Not so much in the heavy tourist areas though. Bangkok, Pats, Jomtien, those ties have seen a billion foreigners unless they're new to the area, and like it's going to take a little more nudging to get some talk out of them. There, you really are just stuck with hotel people and service folks, or actually bud tenders. It, at my age, if I was really trying to make friends these days, I would probably A, befriend bud tenders, and B, I mean that's that greater expat community as well, right? And that's the other thing. Those expat communities are all fairly different. Like Thailand expat community isn't necessarily a community; it's just like an existence. The Thai expat community is so vast and broad that like you might get 10 different takes on what it is if you ask 10 different people, right?
Mm,
Uh, Philippines is a little more cohesive because everyone uh, has gotten the language thing for the most part crossed off their list, and a lot of the community is like understands that there are English people around to do very basic things. But if you're further flung and you're in the province, I feel like there's probably more of a need to connect with the expat community in the Philippines, just
oh,
because
absolutely.
there's going to be all three places there's gonna be certain shit where you just need to talk to somebody that understands your pain or where you're coming from. But my in my opinion, mind you, the Philippines is probably the place where like surface level communication is the least amount of an issue. Like I'm never it not to say it doesn't happen. Like if Koss was here, he'd give you never ending stories about how like he orders things in English at places in Manila to people who speak back to him in English, and then he gets an entirely different thing. So it's not like it stops that, but like those real basic surface level kind of irritations that you can get sometimes speaking in Thailand or Vietnam to somebody that's not a native speaker. Uh, it's a little more friction. It takes a little more. No, I'm trying to say this, or having to break out the translator. Whereas you can move on to your other issues faster. I would
Hmm.
say in those other places. And then Vietnam is probably the least Englishy of those three places. We don't have the sheer number of tourists that they do in Thailand, and we don't have the English language heritage that they have in the Philippines. So as a result, especially in a growing city like this, you're gonna find more English in Saigon and Hanoi. There are definitely people that speak it. Accent's very much there. If you've ever been to Houston or Oakland, it won't sound too off-putting to you. But of those places, you probably need the expat
Wait,
community to
their
be able to
accent
come.
sounds like Oakland or Houston.
No, like Vietnamese Americans in like Oakland and
Oh,
Houston. Like,
I was gonna say what the
no, that would be amazing if they were just out here
that would be
like,
awesome.
hey, say cut, hey, you need some meat coin, bro? Yo, you
What
know
the
I
hell?
got you off that bound meat player. No, there's no
Oh
way.
hell no.
Yeah, no, nah,
Hey, hey,
nah.
Thomas says, do you feel safe there? Do you like living there?
Yeah, I feel safe. I feel really safe, actually. I'd say the only place in Southeast Asia that I'd make an argument that I felt as safe, not even safer, probably as safe, is probably Davao during the pandemic years. Because, man, they wouldn't let a fucking mouse through them checkpoints without scrutiny at that point in time. Unless you had a little bit of money, in which case we were getting through the checkpoints fine. That's neither here nor there. Let's not talk about that on live. But, like, yeah, it's great here. It's safe. I feel comfortable riding my motorcycle at all times of night. Traffic here is a little nutty. Traffic's definitely nuttier here than Thailand or even Philippines. Roads are better, low bar to clear compared to Philippines. Probably slightly, I'd say slightly worse than Thailand. I think Thailand has a slightly better interstate system, but the interstate system here is quite developed and like it's a Philippines is. I don't feel safe driving at all ever.
I
Anytime you leave
guess
the
I
city
guess for
limits.
me, I guess for me, like, you know, and you know this, growing up in America, we had history classes. We heard about the Vietnam War. A lot of our, parents or uncles or that generation, they were in, the Vietnam War. And, in your mind, you build up this picture of Vietnam. And, and that happens, because you're an American, you always are taught that everything is less than what you're used to. But not
Right.
only that, you think, and even Japan to some extent, I would think the same thing because of the history that they have with America. How do they look at Americans? Because I've heard for the most part people say, "Oh no, that that's history." But I mean, do you feel that way? I mean, what's your take? Like when you go out in public and they see you as an American, and you're away from, say, one of the more touristy areas, you're just kind of out somewhere where it's not as common to see an American. Do you feel that there's, people like looking at you like this fucking American right here? Are there people that still hold on to the animosity or, the history of, what happened?
What animosity, bro? They won.
I mean, they pretty much
they,
did.
they
They
won, bro.
pretty much did.
They're not mad about shit.
Yeah, you're
They have
right.
a
That's true.
whole. They have the whole set. We were the ones sponsoring the South Vietnamese. They took the place that we were staying. They crashed the tank there. Then they left the tank as a monument. They ain't worried.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
But yeah, no, the American War of Aggression in Vietnam ended in the Vietnamese victory. So, like, do you, when you see Japanese people, are you like fucking Pearl Harbor? No, we nuked the shit out of them, dog. Why are you bullying those people? That's kind of their thought process on it. So it's
Mm,
like, for them, they're they got a 100% win rate against America. Like
Right,
there's nothing.
right.
The most people that have harsh feelings about Vietnam are Vietnamese Americans because the overwhelming majority of Viet Americans or Viet Q are
Yeah, they
South
escaped.
Vietnamese that fled or expelled.
Hmm.
So as a result, yeah, they for sure they're. And if you ask them about Vietnam, a lot of those cats, and you have to remember, they haven't been back, and none of their family, their extended family, hasn't been back for 50 plus years now. 50, yeah, yeah, just over 50 years. Um,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Did they really win? Yeah, we gave up, dog. That means they won by default. That's kind of. I'm a vet, and I could have told you that. We did not win that one.
I mean, the
Uh,
United States definitely did not accomplish what they wanted to do in Vietnam. So
yeah,
that's a loss.
no diplomatic government existing there. We're not able to overthrow Ho Chi Minh, and we're not able to get rid of the communist ideologies pervading the country. Those are our three main missions here. We went over Trizzy. We did too. Oh, we lost a lot of people, bro, and they lost people for like a national cause. There's not nearly as much salt about it. Like Vietnam is more or less the national shame of America. We don't talk about the war unless we talk about the middle of it. You ever see a movie about the end of the Vietnam War? That's all I'm saying. And that's definitely an opinion. Um, or certainly that's an opinion, but as wins or losses, the Japanese could say the same thing, right? Like, you know, we won the war, we nuked them, but we forced them to, bomb. We forced them as far as or in their thought process, they forced us by bombing Pearl Harbor to enter a war that we didn't have any interest in the Pacific Front. So it's like if you start playing with the definitions of winners or losers, that sort of thing gets pretty foggy. But as far as in an objective sense, in whether or not we achieved our objectives in that war, no, we did not. We failed.
I mean, the United States definitely in no way controls Vietnam like we do other places. So, I mean, again, I mean, to me, that's that's got to be a win.
Yeah.
We
So
don't have the same control there as we do anywhere else.
And it's not to say that America doesn't have soft power in most relevant countries. Like it definitely does. Like Vietnam is trying to talk Trump off the deep end of the cliff with this tariff deal. So obviously there's something there. But I also want to clarify that because I spent a little bit of time at Cal awake during military science class, and we always had a plan to test out two of them. It didn't have anything to do with surrender. Even if they had sent terms of surrender, we would have still dropped Nagasaki because they needed the additional test information. All the
Yeah,
cities in
absolutely.
Japan at that point were so fucked that it was just they were down to like their 12th or 13th choice in Hiroshima and Nagasaki to bomb places. Tokyo had been firebombed so horrifically that the United States determined there were no targets of strategic importance left to bomb. Then they did the same to Osaka. They did the same to Yokohama. The same to Nagoya, Aichi, like where Yokosuka is. Like there's a lot of bombing, and we basically burned down the vast majority of Japan. So it was like at that point they're like, we'll take a port and a production port, and that's kind of how we ended up blowing up Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's so even if they had, there wasn't enough time necessarily in between the two. Especially the Japanese government was pretty scattered at that point in time. Emperor Hirohito was in partial seclusion. No one cares about any of this. Why am I talking about this? Yo, but no. Jokes aside, yeah, there's a complicated history there, but it's not. There's nothing personal. I went to the museum just like everybody else. Nobody was like, "Hey, American!" Like that's
Yeah.
not going on. Everybody's chill.
I mean,
Good.
I would say, Thomas, that war, nobody really wins in a war. I mean, if you
Right.
got people dying, you got families just destroyed, um, land destroyed. I mean, that it's a loss to some degree, but I mean, like I said, if you look at all the other places that we've gone, that the US has gone militarily, worldwide, I would say if you don't want to call Vietnam a loss, it's the closest thing to a loss that I think we've had. I mean, it's got to be up there.
It's definitely as close as we get. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think historically. There's not really too many like places where we've been decisively no thanks. Like most of the times, if the American government wants something, it gets it, either through soft power, hard power, or both. But like Vietnam was a very interesting time in which not only was America failing to win the material war, it was the first time America really had pushback in a war of ideology. So if
Hmm.
you look, I mean, Confederate War, pretty straightforward, go U.S. Mexican American or Spanish American War, go U.S. Civil War, go Union. Like these are all pretty straight. Like there's a very clear right side of history for all of those up until then, and this is the first time that there was enough mass media communication for Americans to take information from non-propagandized news source like state oversee not state overrun, but American news papers or news TV. And then on top of that, you have a whole secondary layer of that where younger Americans were starting to go, "Hey, we spent a lot of time at war, huh? Like, why?" And that's kind of the first real embers of an anti-war movement
You
that
had a
had
more
any
independent and free thinking media at that point than you did in
exactly.
World War II. I mean, I think people, even though World War II, we came out on top, you could definitely say, the lessons learned from the people who were actually in the fight, you know, their kids listened and they heard that shit and they didn't want to go, relive that in Vietnam. So, I mean, it was definitely a much more independent media. But yeah, now we talking about this. So let me ask you this question. So, your girlfriend, she's Filipina, correct?
Correct.
How does she like that area? Does she feel like she gets treated in a certain way, or is there any kind of because I know I mean I've only been to a few places overseas, and the one place where we went where I felt like my wife was kind of like I don't know, treated a little bit differently was Hong Kong. Simply
Mm,
because ninety
OFW
nine point
culture.
yeah, exactly. 99.9% of the Filipinos they're OFW. So she got the looks of what the hell are you doing out on a Wednesday? Why aren't you at somebody's house right now cleaning up? And until they heard her speak, that was the attitude. Then they heard her speak, and it was like, oh, American, hey, how you doing? Come on in. And so there was very different attitudes towards her than there was of me, which was weird because in this country, in the
Mm.
US,
Yeah, you're used to
I
being
get
brown and
watched.
stared at.
Yeah, I get watched in the store. She gets a pass, but it was the opposite over there. She got watched. I got the pass. So how do you feel that her experiences over there?
I will say the only experience I can say that she's had like that was also in another country with a history of OFW culture, which is Singapore. We were in Changi, and I was off doing my usual alcohol buying. There was a while in Changi where I had a very like was on a first name like personal relationship with their head like procurer of like spirits for like the duty free program. I was
Mm,
bad for a moment. I don't even drink like that. I just like shiny rare things. Um, but yeah, she was looking at some YSL perfume or something, and like old girl kept like spying like, "Hey, you need help? You need help with anything? You need help? You need help? You need help?"
mm.
A bunch of other people in the store, but none of them seemed to need help as urgently or frequently as my girlfriend appeared to. She did
Wow.
tell me about that when she felt some type of way there. For the most part, in all the other countries, they just assume that she's one of them until she opens her mouth.
Mm.
Here too, Vietnam, people Vietnamese at her, and she'll have to go, no, Filipino, and like a lot of times they'll
Oh
look at
wow.
me like I'm gonna go, no, I'm just joking. She's joking. She's from Vietnam. I'm like, yeah, yes, and then they're like, wow. Same thing in Indonesia. In Indonesia, they assume she's Indonesian. In Malaysia, they assume that she's Malaysian. And
Yeah.
Thailand, they just cop kun cop at her until she says cop kun stop. Like it's pretty it's pretty universal. Like she's just the right shade of brown that she could be anyone. but as far as like actual like I would say anything that you could say is not even racist or xenophobic behavior. I'd say that only really that one time. Most of the time, they're surprised that she's not the country that they're from, even partially. And
Mm.
then that's the big one. And then the second one is usually, oh, your wife, oh, very beautiful. Oh, yeah, sure, okay, wife, yeah, work, thank you, cool. I give up after a couple of years, dog. It's like, yeah, sure, she's my wife. Fuck it. I'm not gonna sit here and explain dating norms to you, 87-year-old Japanese taxi driver. You're living your best life. Let me just go on. Japan's really interesting. That's the first place I've seen where people keep working after retirement because they're just bored as a nation. That's just a thing that's just widely accepted. Like, oh, you just need the money anymore. You just really like driving that taxi.
Yeah, Japan's fascinating to me. I mean, part of me really wants to visit Japan, but another part of me is just like, you know, outside, and I guess it's just my ignorance of knowing what's there and what's available. But I mean, outside of like Tokyo, Okinawa, uh, I know there's some other big cities, but I know Philippines. You go to Philippines, man. There's so many beaches. There's so many places to, I like stuff like that. I like beaches. I like mountains. I like adventuring. Japan, I don't get that vibe from there. There's a lot of city stuff, and if you're into like anime or you're into, that kind of stuff, yeah, it's all there. But like adventuring, mountains, hiking, swimming, snorkeling, beautiful places. I know it's got to be there, but I just never see that.
I mean, yeah, I guess it depends on what your feed is showing you, though, right? If you're only really thinking about Tokyo, you're only gonna see Tokyo stuff. And Tokyo is inlet city with a bay that's partially built on reclaimed land, just like Singapore and Manila. That's never gonna be your mostly a diamond, but you're never gonna see that out there. Japan's also uh, larger in size than the Philippines, especially if you condense all the islands together. So there's all sorts of stuff all over, man. There's there's like Okinawa, which is in the southern islands of Japan. It's a 2.5 hour flight from Tokyo. Looks closer to Boracay than I can't think of another Bangkok. There we go. As far
Mm.
as comparatively, you're talking beautiful white sand. Jacob, no, Jeffrey Tedder is based out of Okinawa. So the little chunk that's not U.S. military bases is all beautiful. And there are a bunch of other southern islands in Japan
Yeah,
if you're into
Okinawa looks
beaches.
really nice. Yeah, I really would like to visit there. That when I saw that place, I was like, oh shit, okay, that's more of what I was looking for.
There's amazing stuff all over, dog. Mountains, you got. I mean, we had the Winter Olympics in Nagano once upon a time, and Nagano's not even
Mm.
the biggest ski town in Japan. You got Sapporo, the mountains, the snow festival, the ski resorts. That's our next planned Japan trip. I'm going to try to sneak something in there if the budget allows, but we're for sure locked in for next February. We're going to do the Sapporo Snow Festival in Sapporo, Japan. You got
Nice.
mountains. You've got ancient ninja villages or ancient villages that used to be ninja villages hidden, deep in forests. You've got a way better infrastructure than the Philippines, so you can actually get to all of those places
Mm.
without driving there. Like there are a lot of these like small, deep inland, like little Japanese towns or villages or areas uh, that it's like you have to transfer trains 2 or 3 times, and maybe switch to a smaller one that cuts through the region. But some of the sights you see as a result are just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, no, Japan is a great and the price is great right now. It'll never be cheaper than the Philippines, but it will also probably never be cheaper than this. So
Thomas and Juice for they like the history. Hey, real quick, Thomas, have you been to Japan? Did you ever get to Japan when either when you were in the military or not? A
I
Juice
want
said,
to. We'll
Professor,
probably
since
get.
we're on Japan, what was their rationale and game in attacking Pearl Harbor, in the beast of America? Did they have an end game in mind?
Yeah, they were full of themselves
I'm
and
thinking they
literally
did.
thought that God was on their side. At this point, you have to understand that China is the largest regional adversary to Japan, and they're fucking dog walking them. Right? You have the whole Manchurian, whatever you want, the rape of Nanking. You have massacres in Manchuria. You essentially have the only other regional power in the area getting pressed. And so far, the United States is entirely focused on the European front. Um, the other big ally, Australia, is honestly too far away to uh, present a persistent threat to Japan with their military infrastructure at the time. And on top of all of that, the Japanese really did believe that they had one of the most sophisticated military forces in the world. They weren't aware of how far along the atomic bomb thing was going, and I mean, and at the beginning of the war, it wasn't right. You know, we had to get a couple Germans to make that happen. But at the beginning of the war, they were putting belt to ass. They thought that they could win everything. And if you remember those very early Marine offensives before like Tripoli, not Tripoli, sorry, Guadalcanal, what are the other ones on that side of the world? God, it's been 2 decades since I was in Marine Junior ROTC. But like a lot of those battles at Iwo Jima, a lot of the stuff that are the rocky outcroppings of Japan that I would highly recommend that you go visit now for vacation. Um, those places, like they were winning against the Americans. So as far as they were aware, they just needed one more push to convince the Americans that this attack wasn't worth it. The routing that they're using to get all the Pacific Theater troops to Asia is through Hawaii. So they thought, based off the information and timing they had, right now, so much of the Pacific Fleet is in Hawaii, and we have such an overwhelming advantage in
That's what they
firepower.
thought. That's what they thought.
Exactly. That's what they thought. Clearly, historically, it did not go that way. But they
Yeah.
thought they could deal a crippling material and psychological defeat to America. Because a lot of the way they thought about it is if we destroy all their boats, the pride of the American fleet, and they're already stretched in Europe, they're going to go, okay, maybe this isn't worth it right now. We just let Japan figure it out. That's not our problem in the first place, which was up until Pearl Harbor how a lot of Americans thought. Americans were like, yo, Japan, I don't, China, who? They all look same. Skip. And then, you know, they accidentally galvanized the entire mindset of the American public with Pearl Harbor. It was pretty much over from then. But
And
at that time, they thought they had
Hawaii's not a
double,
state at this point either. So I think for most Americans, they're like they probably thought most Americans would be like, ah, fuck that place, let them have it.
right?
Because if you take Hawaii out of the equation, we really don't have any staging ground to go and do anything over in Southeast Asia.
Exactly. Not
Well,
at that point
particularly
in time.
Japan, not at that point in time. And if you
Yeah,
just took out our whole, well, what they thought was our the bulk of our navy, our big battleships and all that stuff, what the hell else are we going to do? So yeah, I think they did think that they could at least get as far as Hawaii. Are they going to attack the mainland? Yeah, probably not. But they definitely wanted Hawaii.
also, a big side downside is you have to remember the supreme commander of the Japanese forces was also the emperor technically. So it's like Emperor Hirohito is probably also. And this is debated academically. I'm not smart slash bored. I'm not the right combination of smart and bored to answer this for you. But a big part of it was like they're giving him a flattering picture of affairs, right? Like we're still not too far away from we're less than 100 years away from samurai committing seppuku at that point. So it's kind of not the best thing in the world to go and tell the emperor of Japan, hey, yo, the Americans might beat the shit out of us and
Right.
ruin our potential for conquering our. Everything's going great right now. Don't be a downer. So that's a chunk of it. That's my understanding of it. Again, I fell asleep a couple times, both in high school and university during military science class. But I took military science in high school and university.
Juice,
Just
are you
I
getting all
guess
this? I mean, this is better than Chat GPT. I'm just saying.
I mean ChatGPT probably hallucinates some better side stories. Um,
He said, thanks for
ha-
the excellent refresher analysis. Great insight.
hey, I don't know how this became a military history
I mean, where
stream,
else are
but
you going to find this
I
though? Where else are you going to find it? Everybody's talking about do Filipinos like black men? What is the cost of living in Philippines? Right now, you're getting a whole history lesson on World War II, Vietnam. Come on, man. Where else are you going to find this?
I mean, there are other things that we could be worrying about right now. We could be talking about why Cambodia and Thailand are about to go to war with one another. That's
Okay,
extremely
I don't know anything
interesting.
about the history of Thailand and Cambodia. What the hell is going on over there? Because all I heard was that they're fighting, and I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so Thailand and Cambodia are both part of two neighboring empires, the Khmer and the Siamese Empire. Always been neighboring countries. They've both been very prosperous and trade with each other up until a few hundred years ago, really. At which point, actually, no. I guess the real first big oomph happened sometime in the I want to say 1200s, but I always get this one wrong. The actual name Siem Reap of the location where Angkor Wat stands is
Mm,
actually named so because was where uh, the emperor or the kingdom of Siam was defeated in an offensive against the Khmer Empire at the time. So
mm,
first and foremost, they have historical beef, like ancient level beef.
right.
I really want to give you a good timing for actual Siem Reap's founding, though. This is the problem with this sort of thing. I need like facts and shit. Um, Siem Reap's, yeah, founding. Oh, sorry, Siem Reap, 802, Angkor Wat is a little closer to then, I believe. Yeah, and this is why we have the internet, so we don't accidentally tell people goofy shit. Yeah,
And you know what?
Angkor
I
Wat
haven't heard
is the
anything
actual
about
monument of
I haven't
that.
heard anything about this in any media. And I mean, I'm not on TV all day, but I mean, I have news feeds. I haven't heard a damn thing over here about it. Nothing.
I
Not a
mean,
peep.
it's a very regional issue. My inability to do numbers without a second screen right now aside, it's always been like that. It intensified during the Khmer Rouge period. Uh, the KR didn't want anybody trying to come in and apply any ideals of justice or freedom. So not only the interior Cambodia got landmined, the vast majority of Cambodia's land borders, including the 500 or so kilometers of border they share with Thailand, were pretty heavily mined. Uh, 40 years later, minesweepers have gotten out a decent amount of it, but still caution mine signs everywhere. Brings us to mm, the area around me. Hun Sen is the former strongman leader of Cambodia. His son, or what the fuck ever, is the current prime minister of Cambodia. They both suck. There's a very strong likelihood that a majority of the scamming and stuff going on in the Golden Triangle. Uh, hey, I see. Gracias. Yeah, there's a strong possibility what's happening in the Golden Triangle is going
What's
directly
up,
into the
Icy?
Sin family's or the Hun family's pockets. Um, as a result of that, a lot of this bad publicity and stuff around Cambodia allowing these things to happen don't look great on the Hun family that are already receiving a decent amount of pushback in Cambodia. Because Cambodia is not economically proceeding the way it's supposed to. We could get into that later, but TLDR, they let China come in, start building a bunch of buildings. The Chinese housing crisis stopped. Now they have a bunch of half-finished buildings. Um,
Mm.
as a result, a little bit of animosity between the Hun family or Sen family, Hun Sen. So Hun family and the Shinawat family. Shinawats are like the closest thing to a Duterte or a Marcos family that the Thais have. Three members of the immediate family have been prime minister recently. Most famous is Thaksin Shinawat. He used to own Manchester City Football Club.
Oh
There's
shit.
Yingluck Shinawat, who was kind of like one of the first prime ministers to get like foreign attention for being pretty. And then there's I fuck her name up all the time. It's like Paitatorn Shinawat, the current prime minister who's in a bunch of trouble right now. Shinawats and Cambodian jerks have always had a really good relationship. Um,
So they're
why
just
not? They're
political
both
dynasties.
yeah, they're both pseudo oligarchies, so there's no shocker there. So when Partatorn, I'm gonna Partantorn. It's when the current prime minister, took over. There was already like a climate of appeasement for them. She's also very inexperienced, relatively, as far as politics goes. She's a nepo baby.
Mm.
There's some border tensions that had been happening starting May. There were some shots fired around the Thai-Cambodian border. There's a large disputed area from those ancient times where there are temples that both countries consider sacred lie, and it's a bit disputed. A lot of the international lines irk towards Thailand, but some of them do irk towards Cambodia. Point being, it was on this disputed territory that some shots fired off. That is a bit of a problemo for Thailand, Cambodia. As a result, Thailand's Prime Minister, Prai Prai, made a call to the former Prime Minister, which shows you who really holds the power in that family, Hun Sen. In it, she's really deferential. She's like how younger people talk to older people in the Philippines, right? So she refers to him as like uncle, but like uncle in like the kuya ate kind of way, right? And
Wow.
like saying, hey, I feel like there's really been some misunderstandings, uncle. Please, general air of appeasement, and saying like, hey, one of our generals, he didn't know what he's doing. He's on the wrong side of the argument. He doesn't get it. He's not. It's our bad, uncle. Don't worry about that. We're gonna get this fixed, okay? He got off the phone. He said, okay. And he went and said, you got that recorded? Yeah? Good. Go put that shit on the internet right now. And about 12 hours later, the prime minister was facing reprisals for making Thailand look very, very weak in the face of Cambodia.
No
Uh,
shit. Wow.
yeah, so he leaked that. And then he admitted he leaked it, which is some like diabolical type shit to be doing. Yeah, I said it. And what? It was one of
Jesus
those moments.
Christ.
So as a result, the Thais have been protesting ever since. They want her the fuck out of office immediately, and there are procedures that have to be made. There are certain things that have to be done, but she's been suspended from office. They let her keep her duties as cultural minister to save face. Saving face very important in Southeast Asia.
Mm.
However, she's essentially been removed entirely from like any involvement with this, and right now.
Right, Thomas
Uh,
Marshall?
not, not at all. It would
No,
be
I don't think
like
so.
no, dog. It would be like if you were in California and you're in SoCal, right? It'd be like you being worried about a war between Oregon and California at the Ukiah border.
I mean, I'm kind of
You
worried.
see, you see, I guess, like, yeah. Well, I mean, with American weapons, yeah, definitely. But imagine instead, it's like the California National Guard and Oregon National Guard fighting, not
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah.
army-sized armies. Um, so yeah, it's like there have been border skirmishes happening for a few months now. However, most people don't live on the Thai-Cambodian border, right? Like the Thai-Cambodian border is kind of in the middle of nowhere for the most part. I've crossed between Thai and Cambodia by road before.
It's a pretty
Like
long
all
border
those are
too.
it's at 500 kilometers or so, and most of it is forest or like very sparsely populated areas. So yeah, I doubt anybody in Thailand cares. Honestly, if you're in Bangkok or Pats or something, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, if that's the case, bro, you should get out of the Philippines. They had similar scale conflicts in Mindanao and Barm.
Yeah.
You're closer. You as a somebody living in Manila are roughly closer, or you're about similar distance than those guys in Phuket worrying about the Cambodia and Thailand affair, right? So it's like on and at a distance on the TV, it seems scary, but
Hey, I just want everybody
realistically,
to know that that siren is coming from TJ's, not mine. So I'm perfectly safe. It's TJ who's in trouble right now.
hospital,
Oh, my bad.
occupational hazard,
Damn.
super safe.
Is that even
Uh,
a thing? I mean, is there a lot of police action going on over there? I mean, I'm
no,
sure it's not like here, but
not at all.
no.
No. State A, it's a communist country, so police is a state organization. There's no like the name police or whatever. There's just the
Ah.
police. And
Huh.
B, high trust society. There's not really a lot of wild shit going on out here like that. You might like run into like some petty theft. Somebody might steal your helmet.
Mm.
And that's mostly gonna be in tourist areas. To be honest with you, you don't really see it on. I live in uh, the city. Like it's hard to tell from here, but there's like a river separating us from like the back end of that. So there's a river that runs the entirety of this, and the side
Mm.
on the beach or touching the eastern beach, not the northern beach, which is way over there, but the eastern beach is the tourist side of the city. So whenever you see YouTube videos,
Oh,
stuff like that of Da Nang, you're seeing almost exclusively that side of the river. This is like the actual city proper. There's no Marriott or Hilton within 2 or 3 kilometers of here. Stuff like
oh
that.
wow.
This is lower lower
How
risk
did you end
area.
up where you're at? Was that something you just went and scouted out, or was it something that like through your work they kind of set it up, or?
Oh no no. I have one of my when this place was much smaller. I recommended one of my friends come here when he was traveling around, and he actually met his wife here and settled down. He's been living here for 7 years and some change now. So
Hmm.
when we were in Bangkok, I was applying for the digital nomad visa, but it's a giant pain in the ass, and I was getting tired of doing 30-day runs. So I was talking to my buddy. He's like, "Yo, just come pull up on Vietnam for a bit. 90-day runs. You know, the city's changed a lot since you recommended it to me. Uh, Come give it a try." So like, yeah, okay, cool. I did, and I definitely I fell in love with the vibe more so than the city. It's really chill here. Like this is the first like larger size Asian city I really felt I could kind of take it easy pace wise, and there's no like external impetus for me to be running around with my head cut off.
Hmm.
So yeah, like for me, it's really nice. So I picked the inner city. I lived when I first moved here. A lot of the units that we were looking for in the tourist area, because I was looking for something that had really high square meter. I was looking for preferably 100 square meters or higher, and so I think that's like what 1,200 square feet or something like that.
Hmm.
So a lot of the stuff on the water, because it caters to tourists, doesn't have that. I think the largest we got was like 100 square meters, and it was on the side of the tourist area facing our side of the river. And I was like, I would rather have more space than be close to all this shit that I have to get on a scooter to get to anyway. And so I actually lived in a house down the street from here originally, a 6 month lease there. And we
Oh
liked the
wow.
house, but it's a little house that you have different issues that come with a house. That's just there's a lot of stuff we could. I have an entire separate thing of house versus condo,
Yeah,
living
yeah.
specific to Vietnam. But I wanted to do a condo afterwards, and we spent about a month looking. I spent mostly because I spent 2.5 months looking when we first got here. We spent 10 weeks Airbnbing it so we could try to find a place that would really work for us. Didn't still, it kind of settled on the house situation. And then uh, coming back around, we were like, okay, we really like that part of town. We don't really want to be in a house. So there are only really like a few mid rise, high rises in this area. Like if you look generally around here, there's no especially tall buildings in the immediate vicinity outside of the hospital,
Yeah.
and as a result, there are only like a couple cities in this area or a couple of buildings in this area that made sense. And we were looking at newer units, but my realtor was like, "I found something that's around the size you want. It's a bit older building. It's about 10 years old, but I think it fits the rest of your stuff because we were looking to pay a little less because we were paying a crazy, ridiculous amount the first time we were here. We were paying a newbie tourist price the first place we rented, um, but this place was like half of the price of that, a little less than half the price of that,
I mean, what's
a little larger
considered a
in
newbie
size.
tourist price?
I was paying 1,500 for a
Oh
200
wow.
square meter 3-story house,
Oh.
which is a lot. It's granted it was a fully furnished house and they fully furnished with Western stuff, which is where a lot of that price came from.
Hmm.
But
That's a couple
yeah,
thousand square feet.
yeah, it wasn't terrible, but it's like the way they do them here is very compact. So it's a 3-story, as a result, it was a bit more narrow. So it was a fine house. We liked the
Oh
house. People
yeah.
came by, they were impressed by the house. But it was too much. We weren't getting enough. After having looked around, we felt like we weren't getting enough for the price. We found this place. It's a bit bigger. It's top floor. This is a penthouse. It's around $600 a month versus $1,500 a month.
Wow, that's
And then,
crazy.
yeah, and then a much nicer uh, commute. Like this is a main street here, and this is a main street here. Versus in our name, you have to come down our little alley and then into our side street, and then into the main street, and then into the street you're actually going to. So actually ended up being a little smoother uh, here too.
I'm gonna tell my wife let's
Yeah.
move to Vietnam for $600 a month.
Hey, I mean, yo, if you don't want the penthouse life, man, $200 a month out here will get you a respectable one bedroom. Like
He's got
you
he's got this place here. This I'm talking to my wife. Sorry, got
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah, I got
penthouse right here in Da Nang, $600 a month. You cool with that? She says she's cool
you.
with that. She says she's cool with it.
Yo, food's great too. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
You
that's what
never
Thomas was just saying about the seafood. I mean, I love Vietnamese
I
food.
seafood is great. The nice thing is just you realize how much money we're paying for premium for Vietnamese food back home. So it's like back
Oh, no
home,
doubt.
a cheap bowl of chicken pho, you're probably touching what, 7.95, 8.95 if you go to the hood.
At least more
Yeah,
like 12
I mean,
now. It's actually more
yeah,
like
I was gonna
12 now.
say. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because I was saying Oakland, I was saying 14.99, and I was like, whoo,
Yeah.
that's so here, you're looking at $1.25 to $1.50, and it's like the same ingredients and composition. So
Yeah.
part of me is like, where's my other $11 with the rent? But
Damn.
it's just the Vietnamese food uh, is kind of priced on like a gradient here. Vietnamese food is generally affordable. High end Vietnamese food is generally affordable. Low end Western is generally around the same price as high end Vietnamese. High end Western gets close to Western prices, but still not quite. So,
Mm.
like, the most expensive meal that I have had here was probably, granted, I haven't, on the other side of that big mountain over there, there's a 5-star intercontinental resort that has a Michelin starred restaurant. I'm not going to the other side of that mountain. Um,
Mm.
but like the most expensive meal I had here is probably like I think you pay like 70 something for an all you can eat like buffet at a really nice restaurant. And this was like unlimited lobster and steak and stuff.
Wow.
Uh, actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. It was 80 for both of us. It was 750,000. I can't do math because if it was 750,000 plus tax, that's 850,000 Vietnamese dong. 100,000 dong is worth a little less than $4 right now. So I would say,
That's
skewing my
crazy.
numbers a little bit, we probably paid 32 a person, so like 64, $65. Uh, I think the highest end I've seen is probably touching that million mark. 1 million
Mm.
to 1.5 million for like special events. Like we had a firework festival going on. They had a buffet during the fireworks, I think is like 1.3. So at that point you're talking like $50. But that's the absolute high end. The favorite place I took Beach of Life when he was here is like my go-to banh mi place. They have these big, huge clay jars with like charcoal and shit at the bottom, and they hang these slabs of pork belly in there, and they just let them roast in a clay pot, and they just get perfectly crispy, and
Ah.
just there's a little bit of a char there. And
Oh
like they'll
man.
break it down and they'll give you this ridiculous sandwich for 25,000 dong, which right now is about 98 cents. So
Oh, that's my
like,
jam right there, man. The pork belly.
bro,
Hell yeah.
let me tell you, this is not a halal country. They
I
love
mean, that works
the
out okay for me.
they love the swine here, my brother. Not to say you can't do it. Like even if you were like um, big homie living on $400, the vegetarian scene's amazing here. You can eat for less than $2 a day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, if you're a vegetarian. But like, I'm not. I don't
No, hell
intend to.
no. Hell no.
How much is a
Yeah, see,
soda? Soda's about $7,000.
7,000.
As so roughly 30 cents ish. 30 cents is the baseline for a Coke. If you go into a store or a convenience store, I think the highest you'll see is maybe double that. You might see a 15,000, 16,000 dong Coca Cola. So like 60 cents.
And Beach of Life, you're saying that the local pho is wildly better tasting than back in the West. But you know what? That was my experience in Hong Kong too. The food there, you eat Chinese food in the United States, and I mean,
Oh
don't get me
yeah,
wrong. I mean, it's like,
Hong
you
Kong a
crave it
different
sometimes.
beast.
Well, it's just made for our tastes here,
Right.
and
Yeah.
our tastes are way
Definitely.
different back there. And back there, everything was so light. I mean, here you eat a little bit of Chinese food, you're full as hell. I mean, yeah, you're hungry 20 minutes later, but you're full as hell for that 20 minutes. Over there, I mean, I honestly I never felt like I got full, but I
It's
wasn't hungry
so
30
good.
minutes later. And it was just so light. I mean, so well prepared. I mean, there really is a difference. And I mean, it's just the shit that they
Yeah.
put in the food, I guess.
Have you been to? Did you get a chance to go to the original Tim Ho Wan in Hong Kong while you were there?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. That was the first place we ate at.
Incomparable, in fucking
It was
comparable.
amazing. It was amazing.
Like is
We were the fat ass Americans. We go in there, and you know how it is. You sit down, and there's no, oh, this is our table. There's a table, and other people
right.
will just come sit down at the table. And so we're sitting there, and my sister, she lived there for like 8 years, so she goes, okay, yeah, there's good food here, blah blah blah. So me and my wife, we're just looking at, oh, we want this, we want this, we want that, we want this, because it's dim sum. And
Hmm.
when they started bringing the food out, we're like, "Oh, this looks great." And then as we're eating, they just keep bringing the food out. We're like, "What is all this food?" She's like, "That's what we ordered." Like, holy shit! Like we were getting full, and they were still bringing food. And so everybody, of course, in the restaurants looking at us like, "You fat fucking American, because we didn't eat
Same.
all that food. We did not eat all that food.
Same. We were
Dude,
in there
for
the
the
same way, brother.
no, for the rest of the trip, I was so self-conscious about what we ate and how we ate and how much we ate. We never over ordered like that again. But it was just like, holy shit, the food was amazing though. I mean, it was just, like I said, just the lightness of it, the flavor, when you're eating that food, you can taste, and I don't have a very sensitive palate. My wife, she has a very sensitive palate. She will taste certain things inside the food. I could taste a lot of the ingredients that were in that food. It was just so good, man. Yeah, it was amazing. I mean,
There,
that's one thing I loved about Hong Kong was the food.
dim sum life is crazy there. I miss it. I haven't been back since the protests,
Yeah,
which
I can't go back.
yeah, it makes it. It may it's and it sucks
I
because
can't
Hong
go
Kong
back.
is one of my favorite places in the world. Hi,
Yeah,
Wishy Burger. You can if you want to come through and add a taco to the sausage party. You're more than welcome, bud.
yeah, we
You
need
know,
one.
yeah, they all need one. Um,
Hey,
do I have the thing? Yeah, I got the thing here. I'm gonna throw that shit out there one time.
we're gonna keep pressuring Thomas too, man. Thomas gonna have to get on one of these panels here.
If you unbusy, I'll probably be here for. I got a solid 10 to 15 minutes of patience left for this. I thought we were gonna go 30, and then we ended up going an hour 30. But like, I do want to like eat lunch or whatever at some point here. I
Oh
this
yeah,
is a joke
it's
that has
damn
gone
here.
away too long.
Oh,
this joke, this was supposed to be a 12-minute joke, sir. 12 minutes. I was like, it'd be funny if I got on and sent them a live stream link. Here we are talking about war and pho.
no shit, huh?
Not, hey, not. I have too much more interesting to be doing until lunch. No arguments here. But yeah, the
Thomas.
food is for sure. Food's for sure different. Let me see. Um, I see you said that you were in the background. Goodbye before I could even type to you. Don't be out here trying to change the narrative.
Oh,
Uh,
Thomas says he doesn't know how to do it. You know what? Because yeah, I think you gotta like download the little StreamYard app, and
on
then you
phone,
can
yeah, but on
on
your
phone.
computer, you should be able to just go to streamyard.com and sign in with your Googles.
Yeah,
Do
it's
your
pretty simple,
Googles.
Thomas. 'Cause I'm an idiot too when it comes to some of this stuff. I just I don't understand some of it because I have certain things that I like to do on my phone, and outside of that, yeah, I really don't go. I don't go for that. But yeah, I mean this is actually pretty easy.
Yeah, it's pretty cut and dry. Juice asked this earlier in the thing. I forgot that you could do this until just now. I wasn't paying
Mm.
attention. Are there casinos in Da Nang? And there's your answer. They're super mid. There's one outside of here called the Hoyana, but you got to realize in a lot of Southeast Asia, like 90% of casinos are baccarat. Like Asians
Boring.
really love baccarat. Like
Boring.
you got like Macau is I think literally 80. The last count was like 87% baccarat
Yeah,
machines
they're big on baccarat.
or baccarat tables. Sorry, tables and machines. They have the video too. Hey, Juice, thanks for hanging out. First of many to come. I don't know about that. Depends on next time Calvin has a brownout. Um,
Take it easy, Juice.
yeah, have a good one, man.
You know what was
Let's
crazy
see.
to me? Macau. When I heard that Macau brings in 7 times the revenue of Las Vegas, and then my sister
Yeah.
explained to me, "Yeah, 7 times. That was the last number I heard." But she explained, she goes,
Mhm.
"Well, look at it this way. China, gambling is illegal in China." And she goes, "If you're a millionaire or a billionaire in China, you're going to go to Macau. That's where they all go." And when we went there, you go to these casinos, and I mean, I've been to Vegas, I don't know how many times. The casinos in Macau blow the casinos in Vegas away in how beautiful they are, how clean they are, what have you. But there's nobody in them. There's so few people in them because they count on millionaires and billionaires for their customers. So you got shit. Wait, I mean, walking around, it felt like we were on a movie set. Like there was no people walking on the streets. Like Vegas, how Vegas is. There's people.
Yeah.
You can't spit on the ground without spitting on somebody. You got all
Mm.
these people handing you shit. Over there, it was like empty. Like there's no, you look around, there's nobody around. We're like, where is everybody? And you go in the casino, and I mean, there's machine after machine after machine. Nobody's on them. Tables nobody's on. Super, super quiet in there, but they got all the millionaires and billionaires in there from China. So they're making their money 7 times what Vegas makes in a year.
Yeah,
Nuts.
I mean, it's all compulsive gamers, and if you went, I'm sure you noticed, fucking table stakes are high as fuck there.
It's,
That's
yeah,
another part of
really
it, right?
high.
Most places start somewhere around 200, 300 Macau dollars for like non-craps games, and then like craps will probably be like I think I've seen it start around like 60 Macau dollars. I've only been the one time. I'd not go back. It's very pretty, but like you said,
Yeah, I didn't play anything.
yeah, unfortunately I was underage the one time I've been in Macau, so I literally didn't play anything.
Beautiful
Um,
casinos though. I mean, they were beautiful casinos. Thomas, you don't got
yeah,
to
yeah,
dress, man. I'm completely butt naked right now.
yep. Wait, you heard him. He's but wait a second. Uh, let's see. We, she means the royal we. I just want to clarify. She means like
Right?
the Queen Elizabeth we. Although maybe, hey, yo, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. But that's
There
neither
you
here nor
go. There you go.
there. Yeah, man. I don't think. Uh, I don't think. Oh no, sorry, I got off the thing there. But yeah, I don't think it's hard to find food that really clicks for you in Vietnam. But if you're a certain type of person that really needs certain Western shit, it's a little tougher than the other two countries. I will say that. Like, um, Westernized Chinese food. Westernized Chinese food is really, really tough to find here. I swear I just live by a hospital. Nobody's being shot. It's probably somebody tripped and fell down some stairs or ate too much pho.
What,
Um,
what's a main? I mean, is there any American chains there? Like, what would be like McDonald's? They have McDonald's. I mean, but
They got yeah, they have Macdo. Macdo took a long time to really gain traction here, but they do have it. They have Popeyes.
no
They have
shit.
KFC. Southeast Asia fucking loves fried chicken. Asia is the country really into fried chicken. I
Hmm.
mean, the world loves fried chicken, but they've like doubled down on it.
I would have never thought
But yeah,
Popeyes. That's crazy.
Popeyes and churches. Although in this part of the world, they're marketed as Texas chicken. But other
Hmm.
than that, they're the exact same brand. So if you ever see a Texas chicken, same with for some reason on base, they were always Texas chicken too. There are no churches on base. You go on the base, it'd be Texas, even if outside the base it was churches. Very
Hmm.
confusing. Um, but yeah, we have churches, we have KFC, we have Popeyes, we have Jollibee, not American, but worth mentioning out there. My girlfriend is very good friends with Jollibee.
Yeah,
And
that'll
then
work.
let's see. Those are really it as far as like the big chains. They have Burger King here, but it's way more sporadic. There's only one in Da Nang, and it's at the airport. The rest of them are scattered in between Saigon and Ho Chi Minh. Let's see. Do I
And you
really
can
have
tell a
that?
difference between the say the KFC, the you know the Popeyes
Oh yeah,
taste
all four
wise.
taste very different. Yes. Also out here, Church is the only one that has biscuits, so that's
Huh.
also a thing. But yeah, all three of them they taste significantly different. KFC here, like in most countries, tastes better than KFC in America. America has like one of the lowest rated or ranked KFCs. Popeyes here is about equivalent to the other Popeyes I've had in for sure Philippines. I think Thailand. I don't remember off the top of my head. I was eating a lot of chicken there. And then Churches is better than Churches back home. Just I think
Mm.
because they have to refresh the oil more than every month, unlike in the
God, I
states.
have not had churches in years. They probably use a different oil. Yeah, I'm sure that the oil, probably peanut oil, more for a lot of their stuff than
Shit, the
here.
churches in Oakland is probably using the same oil from when I left. And I do not mean brand wise. Um,
I mean, just
they're just
strain it out and use it again.
running
That's
that
all you got
shit
to
through a
do.
strainer and calling it. Yeah. Unfortunately. You don't need a Church's $2 Tuesday equivalent here because most meals in Da Nang are around uh, 50,000 dong already. So it's like, let me see. If I do I have a phone on me, I'll pull Wise right now or Grab right now and tell you whatever their current special is. But you have to understand that your average Western meal here is sub $5. A Big Mac meal in Da Nang costs 110,000 pesos, which is what $4 and like 40 cents or something like that. So you got a lot of
What we used to pay
that.
like in the late '80s, early '90s, basically.
Yeah, you got 90s prices here still. Let me see.
You know what,
Can't
Thomas?
use
That's a good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. What they're feeding the chicken, the local chicken. Yeah, it's that would
Yeah,
definitely make a
yeah,
difference.
they're not out here. They don't got them 50 cent chickens hooked up to breathing apparatus running on a treadmill like in the club video. Ooh, my internet is wild because it's also bumming this. Let me see if I can. Okay, so yeah, right now, read you off some of today's specials. Popeyes, Cajun chicken cheese, uh, drumstick, and a Coke, $3.55. Um, Lunch deal: two chicken, crispy chicken barbecue rice plate, one popcorn chicken barbecue rice plate, two drinks, um, about $3 and 70 something cents, 98,000 dong.
Yeah.
Two piece crispy chicken right now, $3. So $3 hauler. Lunch deal for one person, main dish, medium coleslaw, a drink, 59,000 dong. So about $2 and some cents. So yes, all the deals here are deals. Like there's like I said, the MacDo deal. You know, a Big Mac meal here is $4. Uh, KFC meal is somewhere in that $2 to $4 area. Church's Popeye, same. Um, but it's the local stuff that really puts belt out. Like I said, my favorite banh mi place, 25,000 dong. A good milk tea or a boba here, sub $2. So sub 100
Wow.
pesos. A good
Shit, that's super cheap.
yeah, soup like pho and stuff here. Like I said, most expensive pho that you're gonna run into trends on the side of like $2 and change, or maybe look at 70,000, 75,000 dong pho, and that's gonna be like the doc the special with everything, right? It's gonna have the meatballs and the flank and everything else. Um,
Icy
you know,
Icy has the date that she's going to eat KFC. The exact date. Wow,
wow,
it's crazy.
gambare, I see you. Gambare, best of luck, buddy. Uh, we'll be hyped for you. Coffee. If you like coffee, you will be pleased in
Oh
Vietnam.
yeah, Vietnamese coffee
Man,
is
the coffee is
bomb.
ridiculous. It's Sometimes we just pick because Grab will give you the little equivalent of the double dash where it's like add another thing for uh, for how for free shipping. And a lot of times we'll pick like a coffee place down the street, and it's like a milk tea here delivery. You're probably looking at $1 to $2. The
Wow, that
very
is
top
nuts.
end name brand place, Highlands Coffee, which is their equivalent of Starbucks. Although they have Starbucks here, but nobody goes there because the coffee sucks ass compared to everywhere else. Only tourists go to Starbucks, basically. Um, and then you have maybe like one or two other like fancier places. They have stuff that's touching that 50, not 50 to 70,000 dong price point, so $2 to $3. But for the most part, like the place I go down the street for fruit teas, they do and fruit tea out here will be like an actual tea somebody made, and then they have a bunch of like diced fruits and syrups made out of actual fruit, and then they mix it all together, and that probably runs me about 25. Their regular mango passion tea is like a 20,000 dong, so it's like 80 cents to $1 in like a lot of areas. Again, if you're at a restaurant, one of my favorite sit down restaurants to go to here, even though we have a yakiniku grill at home, I'm really, really into yakiniku, Korean barbecue, whatever he has it. On the high end, if we go out and we get like A5 Wagyu beef and like we get some really like some good cuts of Iberico and throw that with some really good like local cuts, you might be looking at $30 a person, probably. I
Damn.
know like
Wow.
the Wagyu family combo is like $60, and that's supposed to serve 3 to 4.
That's
Realistically,
crazy.
we always go with the lower number that it says for any of those. So
Right,
uh,
Icy? That's what I'm saying. Hey, TJ's the Cal of Vietnam. Respectfully, respectfully.
respectfully, no, I feel I'll take it. I haven't been in that good of a shape since the army, but I'll take it. um,
Oh, no shit, huh? Hey, I mean, because I mean, seriously, I mean, I think other people have said it. I mean, I was looking at stuff in the Philippines for a little while, but it really wasn't until I saw Cal and him actually. I mean, dude's living there. He's not in a condo. He's not vacationing. He's living there. It wasn't until I saw him I was like, holy shit, you can actually live there. And yeah, Vietnam, that definitely was not on my radar for a place to live, until I heard you talking about it. I was like, well, let me look into this. And well, no, yeah, definitely respectfully, man, because that's, I mean, you have to see people doing what it is that you want to do, you know, to make it
yeah,
real in your mind. There's few people that can think about something that they've never seen before and actually make it become a reality. There's very few people that can do that. But
yeah.
yeah,
Dry
that's
actualization is an amazing superpower I do not have.
it's tough, man. Yeah, it's definitely tough.
But yeah, I mean I really like it here. I want people to enjoy it. I'm not really here to hype it or anything like that because I don't like people enough to do a hard convince for any of those things. I like arguing enough to argue certain facets of it, but it's always going to be like I'm not the type of person that wants to sell somebody on something because I don't want you coming at me like, "Hey, you ruined. I listened to you, and now my shit's all fucked up." Like
Yeah, no, absolutely.
it makes me sad. Even though I know Thomas Marshall is mostly joking, Big Tom is joking about it'd be like, "T, I'm never listening to you again." I does it make me feel like, damn, bro. If you had told me you were gonna be stuck in Ho Chi Minh, like so there is a need for that, but I don't want to invite more of that. So like there's very little impetus for me to push it more. But if you ever ask, like I'm always an open book. I'm always down to answer questions or whatever. If people are thinking about moving here or have tips, I'm active. There's a brothers and sisters in Da Nang WhatsApp group that I recently got uploaded to. I've been very pleasantly surprised by a number of brown folk
Really?
hanging out in the area scattered here. Yeah, it's interesting because Southeast Asian travel is very recently becoming mainstream for us. I remember the first time I saw black people in Bali like 4 years ago. I was blown the fuck away. Like there were 8 of you, amazing. Um, see,
You
but
fucked me
yeah,
up, T.
but yeah, mea culpa. But yeah, like with stuff like that, like there are people that are slowly starting to explore Southeast Asia, and the overlap is coming right as Da Nang is starting to kind of emerge as like one of the new generations of cities that people are coming to. I feel like it's very much burgeoning right now. I would say like some of them is probably here in Da Nang, um, Not Trying, which is also Vietnam. The other one that people have been pushing uh, a
Because
lot lately.
in Hong Kong, I think we came across, and we went there twice, and I think both, still on the second trip, I don't remember seeing any black people, to be honest with you. On the first trip, well, you know, Africans, we saw Africans there, but American black people, no, they were from Philly. That was the first trip though. That wasn't the second trip. Yeah, we saw
Yeah.
one couple from Philly in Macau of all places. We saw, we
Hmm.
were in some little shitty souvenir shop, and of course, you see somebody black, and you look, and I noticed this dude has a Philadelphia Eagles jersey on. What the hell? And then I heard him talk. I was like, what the hell in Macau? So I look, and yeah, he's talking to his wife in American English. I'm like, hey, where you got from? And it's like it was shocking. It was like, holy shit, because you're there all this time, and you go, and not a lot of people speak English there outside of
Yeah.
it's this much money, thank you, goodbye. That's the extent of most of the English. But you go all that time with the two or three people that you're hanging out with, and then you see this other two people. You've instantly doubled the English speaking population of your immediate area,
Right.
and it's like, holy shit. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of disheartening though, because you do want to see more people, getting away from Oakland, LA, Chicago,
Definitely.
New York,
And
Houston.
that's why I try to be open with it. Like when I do see folks, like I'm not like despite whatever I don't know what my personality comes off as online, but like if I don't if I don't know you and I see you, I'm not looking to talk to you, but I will talk to you if you speak to me first, and I'm not in a rush. Like I'll probably have like RBF on because my general first mental reaction is fuck a person, but after I get over that initial barrier, I'm generally, and it's happened here. I've had folks, stop me. Hey, yo, bro, can I ask you a question about this random area? A lot of times I'll be like, yeah, yeah, man, what do you need? Sometimes they'll catch me in a good mood. I'm like, sure, brother, what can I help you out with? Sometimes I'll be like, I don't really know this area. Let me just keep mumbling until you leave.
You start
Uh,
speaking Vietnamese.
Xin chào.
Okay,
See,
I think that
like,
was something that
no,
Thomas asked.
I'm not.
I think that was something that Thomas asked. How much of the local language do you speak, if any?
Barely. I'll keep it 1,000 with you. It's only been the last couple of months that I started to make an honest effort at learning a little bit of it. A lot of times, my thought process is that if I don't think I'm going to stay in a place for a long time, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to learn a lot of the language. But like, I don't know. This recent go, I feel like the last couple of months, I've seen enough Vietnamese people that don't speak a fucking lick of English, making a
Mm,
very like earnest effort to communicate with me.
yeah, yeah.
And if they can do it, it makes me feel like a bit of a dick for not doing it myself. And that's kind of how
Especially because you're in
we
their country. That's how I felt about, when I go to
right.
another country, like I want to learn, because I learned some Cantonese, I learned some Tagalog, because I wanted to know at least something, like let the people there know that, hey, I give a shit about your country. I'm not just here to take, and
Totally.
me learning some language, I think kind of shows that I'm at least interested in knowing
You're
the
giving it a
culture and
shot.
giving it a
And
shot, at least.
it definitely helps. I mean, I'll tell you one person who like I'm always just the little bit of Messiah he's learned has gone so far is Beach of Life. Because let
Mm,
me tell you, I don't want to get him too incriminated. So earmuffs, Hannah. But before like when I first met him, I was surprised with how many girls like even if he was over there, like there would be like at a meetup or something, like there'd be girls like, oh, did you see he speaks Bisaya? Oh, it's so good too. Like
Oh
nudging their
yeah,
single
absolutely.
friend, like, oh, you speak. Like I've seen the opposite sex give Beach of Life that reaction a couple of times, and that did have me
Oh,
when
absolutely.
uh, I was like, damn, if I get single, I might have to learn me some Bisaya, bro. Ooh, I'm out here. I'm living wrong because I was already taken by the time we met. But like when I see dudes like that, I'll say like that's probably one of the guys that maybe inspired me to learn even just the basics because it's like you do feel a different level of acceptance. For me, it's tough because like the languages I already speak are a pain for me, and like I always feel like I'm very much at use it or lose it. Where if I add additional uh, if I add additional like languages, I'll just start something else will start leaking out. But like I've started learning very basics. Sing Chow, hello, Sing Loi, sorry. Um,
Hmm.
come on, thank you. Moat, hi, bye, yo, my, I believe like one through, like the basics, and
Into
like
the basics,
I
yeah.
I be watching a little YouTube video like every week. It kind of goes over the simple things again, and I will say, even the little tiny bits that I picked up, you can tell you can there is a visible difference in how people respond to you. Even simple stuff, learning okay, bang, versus trying to say okay to people, entirely different. I'd be on the phone when I first got here with the Grab driver. I am downstairs. Okay, something in Vietnamese. Okay, sigh. Something like I am coming. I come down now. Down now. I come down. I am that. And then like one day, so yeah, you just say okay, say bang. It's like if it seems like they're in a hurry, say it a bunch of times in a row. And now I'll be on the phone. It doesn't matter. Hello, grab. Bang bang bang. Oh, click. So it's like it also makes life slightly easier for you. And I know the more that I pick up, the more things are slightly helpful. Being able to communicate with numbers, say I want that many of these or this, like that has definitely helped.
And it just
Uh,
opens up people's personalities and their willingness to, look at you as a human being. I mean, you watch some of these videos of these like what's his name, Shauma, or a couple of these other dudes that they or what was his name, Lao Shu. These dudes, they go in and the people are looking at them like, oh, here's a scary black man, and all of a
mhm.
sudden they're busting out with Khmer or what do you call it, Mandarin or whatever, and all of a sudden these people, like, you can see their personalities just explode. They were very much resting bitch face, but as soon as he spoke their language, boom, their personalities come out. I love that, man. I mean, that's I can't think of a better feeling than to go somewhere like that and just have everybody just be like, "Holy shit! Wow! You speak our language, man. That's awesome, man. I would love to be able to walk around and be able to do that. I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna learn it. I've been learning, but not I'm not fluent. I'm definitely not fluent.
It's definitely important. And in places I really thought I was going to be a uh, for a longer time, like Japan, I learned like some Japanese. It's fleeting at times, but like it makes a huge difference in Japan, especially because you still have a lot of older folks working, and even being able to communicate like that basic Japanese stuff will get you so much further once you leave Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and then like in Colombia, I was like, I've already like taken instructional Spanish. I should just start taking private lessons so I can learn a bit more. Because I might, when I was a dirt bag of 20 something and 13, 14, 15, the mission was moving to Cartagena, or I want to move to either Cartagena or like Puerto Plata, or not Puerto
Mm,
Plata, Puerto, no, not Puerto Calera, um, Las Caderas,
mm.
which is up in it's like the northernmost part of the Dominican.
Hey, we give Blizzard a hard time about these comments, but yeah, we gotta look at these comments.
You right?
There's some classic one-liners
Oh
in some of
no, I'm
these
about to.
comments.
Yeah, I like I. Besides makes the Chinese drop was high tier. Yeah, we speak of broken. Yeah, that was me, and maybe it's because I was yelling. And probably part of the reason I learned Vong is I was like, I am a grown ass man just yelling, I come now, like into a phone. I know there are no other English speakers in this building. There's no nice thing about this. There's no one else on this floor. I don't know how well I can do this, but I'll show you real fast. Um, this was the thing that really sold me on this. This is my floor. There's here, and there's that door. There's the area where the trash can is. Um, but like, there's only one other unit, and that unit's vacant. So uh, my shit be on full blast all the
I don't know
time.
what it is about Asian apartment buildings, but they all look the same. They all look like that.
All yo, this is the fourth one of these I've lived in, and I don't mean apartments in Vietnam. I mean ones that looked exactly like this shit. So I'm right
Yeah.
there with you, brother.
My sister on
What?
her
You
door,
come?
they had a thumbprint thing. Like you could open the door with your thumbprint. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I had the thumbprint thing too. Actually, I have thumbprint on mine, but I think they have it like keyed to the building owner.
Mm.
Like the guy that owns the building is like this building is named Huang Wen Apartments, and like Huang Wen is the dude that owns the place. So you do get a lot of you do have a really good setup, but it does also feel like he's a construction guy, and it feels like he's just like just make building 8 again.
Uh-huh.
I see
We
you or your fellow taco are more than welcome to come hang out for the next Jesus quantity of minutes. Um, a taco.
Thomas Sweat.
I mean, icy. You wanna? I mean, if you want to be visual, imagine what a smiling person uh, would choose the first insert one of those fingers into. That should give you a vague idea on what a taco is.
Nothing vague about that description right there.
Hey, bud, I'm trying. God's working on all of us.
All right.
Um,
Thomas,
let's
you're
see.
missing a lot.
Icy said when she goes back on members only, she'll be more than happy to explain to you and detail the difference between tacos and sausages. Uh,
Wait till you learn what a chalupa is.
oh Lord in heaven. Yo, my man said deerfoot. Whoa,
Wow.
is that like an evolved form of camel toe? Like you get at the level 35 and you use a firestone?
Thomas, so
Deerfoot.
what?
That sounds southern, boy. That sounds like something my dad would say. Yeah, boy. You ain't see that girl walk down the street and hold Deerfoot. Dad! She's 63. Why you doing in my eyes? You too good for some old coochie. My dad is the same age as Calvin, and it blows my mind sometimes because
Oh damn.
like my dad is like similar level of old man strength. I don't know. I'm hoping that the whole vascular thing kicks in for me around my 50s too. But yeah, just very, just I just remember like for everyone Calvin out there, you got a bunch of dirty old niggas like my dad.
Damn.
Well, I love my father. Don't let me, Chris. I don't mean like he's a
Well,
bad
they
person,
are,
but
but they are who
he's
they are
def
who they
he
are.
a yeah,
They
he was
grew up in a
a
different era. They grew up in a
he
different era.
grew up in Oakland during the crack era. I don't know. They were everybody was wilding. I think everybody as a collective was wilding at that point in time. But I used to be the my that's what had me like when people be like, oh, this new music, it's so like crude and vulgar. It's like my dad played me a song from the 70s called "Let Me Be Your Candy Liquor."
Yo.
Um, said, "Let me lick you up, let me lick you down. Yeah, come here, baby, turn around." or something like that, and
Wow.
that predates me by one adult's worth of years. Um,
Oh, they, you know,
so yeah,
they've been like that. They've been
oh
like
yeah,
that.
that's just the first one that came to mind. Bro had a whole mixtape of dirty songs growing up in the CD era, or a mixed CD. I
And I mean,
remember,
damn near everybody from Oakland, the Bay Area, they're from Texas. I mean,
or
Houston
Louisiana. My family's from Louisiana mostly,
Or Louisiana. Yeah, that
but there
little
are
area
some of
right
my families
there.
from Galveston too. Yeah, so
Very similar cultures. Very similar cultures.
Gulf culture for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, both
definitely.
my parents are Louisianan, but we were both
Beach of life,
Louisianan.
inappropriate. Beach of life, inappropriate, bro.
What?
Oh
I met
man.
yeah, I met Calvin in person several times. Calvin's built like a running back. That shit is crazy. Well, fullback, which we don't have a ton of anymore in the NFL. But that's just crazy. It's like it's wild that bro has no broken tackle stats in any stage of his life. Like he definitely looks like somebody you could hand the rock to even now and probably get like a good one or two to push you over fourth and inches.
Right.
Um, but yeah, no. Let's see, Wizard. Yo, are we just going through all the nicknames now? They're man, they're it's so interesting
I
because
see.
it's
Don't
like
get Thomas worked up.
it's funny because they're dirty terms in like all countries and like some of them don't overlap. Some have equivalents, um, but like a good one, Japan. I went to uni in Japan for some point in time, so that's where most of my dirty foreign words come from. But like for example, obviously Japan has a word uh, for coochie, which is manko, or if you really nasty, oh manko. O is an honorific. It adds a what's the word I'm looking for? It adds a level of respect. It would be like calling
Mm.
you Cisco versus calling you Sir Cisco, right?
Ah,
So like you have manko and o manko, but then they have other terms. One that always stuck with me was ebi. Uh, Instead of butterface in Japan, they call a girl ebi or ebiko or something like
wow,
that, or ebijo, and that you only eat the body and you leave the head
wow.
is the term for that.
So impolite
Uh,
in Japanese culture, though.
you you have other ones phenomenal like you have is it shoso or sosho? I think sho sokudanshi, which are vegetarian or grass eating boys. Basically, it's like the original men going their own way. Actually, predates men going their own way by a good decade or two. This whole movement in Japan, where the birth rates were lowering, the guy girl ratio was getting a little bit wonky, and all the pressure from the 80s, 90s. Uh, and thousands kind of had motherfuckers like, you know what? Fuck being a salary man so I can have a wife and then have two kids that I look for or after until our parents are ready to move in and go through things. I'm just gonna do me. I'm just is the first generation of Japanese dudes that are like, I'm not gonna become a family man. I want to learn painting, dog. Or like, I wanna be a mountaineer or I wanna cycle up and down Japan. Like you get uh ideals like that. And it was such an affront, I guess,
That
to
takes
the
some
common
balls out there,
Japanese
though.
thought
That
process.
takes a lot of balls to do something like that out there. I mean, just with the way the culture is.
Definitely does. Wait, what's this one? Mom, I want to, but mom won't. Oh, for you to go back to the Philippines. I see. So much Japan culture in Japan that Westerns always misinterpret sometimes. How you always misinterpret something sometimes. I'm just playing with you. I know what you meant. I see. English is your fourth language. I can't speak any of the other ones that you speak any better. So let me just shut the hell up real fast. Um, like, hey, yo, I try to stay in my lane, buddy. I just swerve on occasion.
If only we had somebody who would explain what is getting misinterpreted in Japanese culture. If only we knew somebody that could come up on the panel and explain that.
Yeah, I wonder. Oh well, I guess we don't know anybody.
Yeah, we'll
So
never know.
anyway, you know what the Japanese really like since Icy's not on here? Cold openings. If you see a Japanese girl out in public and you think she's attractive, regardless of what she's doing, just stop her right where she is in the middle of the city and just start hitting on her. English, Japanese, doesn't matter.
They love that.
Icy, is that good so far? Thumbs up. Links up there if there's anything that you're hearing that might be off. No, okay. We gave it a try.
I heard they like really,
Racism for
really,
one.
really, really being the center of attention, getting put on the spot as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you ever see a Japanese person, put them in a socially awkward situation. They love it. Ooh, I think we're starting to get a teensy bit of rain. Let's see. Oh yeah, racism. Racism very interesting. It's more of Japan's thing is more xenophobia than racism. I think a lot of
Do
people
you, boo
sleep
boo?
on that. The Japanese or Japan has been its own country for a very long time. It's been pretty culturally and ethnically homogenous, with the exemption of like the Ainu and the original denizens of the Ryukyu Islands, what's now present day Okinawa. Uh, and Japan had a very long isolationist period, right? If it wasn't for Commodore Perry and the black ships entering Nagasaki, you know, we might have gone an extra century of Japan not, communicating with people. They were very much a hermit kingdom for a long time. So a lot of times, racism is not necessarily racism. It's like, it's just, it's a, it's xenophobia. It's just there's not like if you ever thought that the Japanese feel some type of way about us, go ask some older Japanese how they feel about the Koreans, especially the Zainichi Koreans, which are
Oh yeah,
essentially
that's a whole other
yeah,
feeble.
yeah. Like there's really interesting stuff. It pops up all over the place. When I was a tutor, a good part of why I lost my first ESL job when I was a student in Japan was was we were going through articles. We were reading from like newspapers. I was doing diction, grammar, stuff like that. And one of the articles we picked up was like how Japan was going to legalize civil partnerships for LGBT people. And
Hmm.
my student or my client, who's a lawyer, interrupted to tell me that the English must be off because there are no gay people in Japan. Mind you,
Wow.
this woman would have been about my age now, so definitely mid 30s to early 40s. And Okayama is granted a smaller city. It's in what's Chugoku, which is literally like the Japanese equivalent of the Midwest. It would be like if I went to school at like Ohio State,
Yeah.
or like fucking even worse, Kansas, like K State or something like that. Um, I love the city. But as far as its mentality, I'm trying to set you on. So in 2010, this lawyer, mind you, this is a grown adult. She's gone through secondary and post-secondary education. No gay people in Japan. I'm
Sweet.
like, well, who's the gay nigga I saw yesterday? Does he know that he's not Japanese? Because he was with another guy in an embrace. Yeah, I mean, of
I was gonna
course,
say,
that
is it
stuff
just not open, or was she just completely
on
oblivious?
college campuses. I mean, like, granted, I was going to university. It's probably slightly more acceptable there, but at the time, this was very like uh, it was very slow. It was a very slow realization that people are people regardless. But again, middle of the country. Let's see.
And let me ask you this: what took you out there originally, TJ? How did you end up go? Was it like a dream of yours to go there? Like, how did you end up going out there? Was that the scholarship that you got offered? Like,
No, I was a giant weeaboo or anime nerd or whatever way before that shit was like. I was probably like I got into like Japanese culture cool stuff at like 11 or 12. Like just first like everybody's first exposure was probably like Dragon Ball Z, but then like Dragon Ball Z on Univision, and then like the international channel started playing like stuff like Fushigi Yugi, and naming some stuff that probably only Icy, if anyone would get the reference for, and probably not because Icy was an adult. when she made it to Japan. But like stuff like that, Saint Seiya, Fushigi Yugi, um, Sailor Moon, shit like that. I was like, oh, this is neat. And then I went to school, the part of Oakland, and then the part of Oakland I went to school and was predominantly Chinese. So I always had a little bit of a hint for Chinese culture. We moved to Sacramento temporarily. That school had one of the highest concentrations of Japanese Americans in the state, and so I was exposed to like Nisei culture, like second generation Japanese culture,
Hmm.
before I was really exposed to like Japanese culture. But I had all these friends around me that were like, our Japanese, like, the other Thomas in my school, the Thomas Nakano, Brandon Miyazaki. Like we had like a lot of mixed race Japanese kids. And like for them, like Japanese culture was cool and badass and this foreign thing from America. And for me, it was like, I'm black. America's kind of trash. Like this is this cool futuristic place where everything was happening 10 years in advance and shit. And then
Hmm.
that probably led to everything else. I got into anime and manga. Getting into anime and manga made me want to learn a bit of Japanese. I started taking it my senior year of uni. By the time I was a senior in college, I was pretty sure I wanted to study abroad in Japan. I didn't know if I wanted to live there. So by the time I got into college, this is already like 10 years in the making that I'm going to, oh, snap, an icy.
Wow. Welcome.
Oh, can't unmute my guest because she chose to mute herself, which is
Oops.
a choice, but she is there. She's there in spirit. If nothing else, she's spiritually equaling out the taco to sausage ratio. I'm gonna be hurt if she did this a while ago and I just didn't see it because I didn't. Okay,
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
Hear me?
Yes,
Yes. It's a
Okay.
little
okay.
muffled.
I'm not sure.
You're at
Let
work.
the sausages keep hanging. No, I'm sorry. But I'm not sure if my audio is good because it keeps cutting off, it feels like.
Yeah, it's a little
Your
muffled.
audio is fighting. Your audio is fighting a difficult battle right now.
Yeah, hold
Wait, yeah, we'll wait. Hopefully you guys just stand, find the router and just stand under
on.
it
Okay,
and
how
yell
about now?
exercise instruction.
There you
Perfect.
go.
There we go.
Okay. Oh, doesn't want Wi-Fi. It wants data. Ooh la la. Okay.
Mm.
So
The
what are we
children,
talking?
they yearn for the data.
Yeah.
I think what were we talking about most recently? I mean, hey, we're talking about your neck of the woods. You're talking about Japan and why I ended up wanting to move there or wanting to study there. But yeah,
Yeah, I
um,
want to hear that one too.
so yeah, like I said, the senior TLDR.
Itadakimasu. Let's eat.
If only how to hit them. Once I leave here though,食べましょう. But yeah, I was really into Japanese culture. I went to the city that I lived in California had a high population of Nisei, so second generation Japanese Americans. So I was always kind of around the culture, but like for a lot of kids, anime was kind of what uh, anime was kind of like the main like draw for like a 10, 12 year old me. And I started to get interested in learning like stuff with subs, and I started to have a big interest in learning like kana. And by the time I came into like the end of high school, I was pretty sure I wanted to study abroad in Japan. So I actually went to a school expecting for international study because they had recruited me on the basis of that they had a brand new program bilateral opening up with Tokyo, and that I'd be one of the first applicants, which would make it easier to go in. I
Hmm.
moved into that school a year later. They still hadn't figured this shit out, so I ended up actually leaving that school and going to a state school. What's funny is I had rejected UC Berkeley because I essentially had to they wanted to see essentially one more year or one more semester at JUCO because I was missing a couple H3G requirements, but not the ones
Hmm.
that aren't CSU because they have two different requirement sets. Anyway,
Yeah.
TLDR, I ended up going to state school, and the choices were either study abroad in Tokyo or Okayama. Tokyo, really famous university called Sophia. Okayama, pretty small university I'd never really heard of called Okayama. And then there was one more Korea. I could have gone to Yonsei, which is actually an extremely elite school in Seoul. But I was never South Korea always struck me as a bit more xenophobic than Japan, especially at that point in time. So I ended up picking Japan. Um,
Hmm.
and then yeah, it was always culturally is always somewhere I saw myself ending up. I just didn't know when. I would end up there, 1920. So for me, it was like a great time, especially because at 20, you can legally drink in Japan versus 21 in the States. So it was like I got a bonus year of drinking. Uh,
A
and yeah, I
bonus
just
year.
really I like the idea. I really part of me wanted to be Tokyo or in Tokyo, but like a lot of folks I talked to got really lost in the sauce of Tokyo life, and it just made it less appealing to me at the time. I was already from a large city, like I'm already from the Bay. It didn't make sense for me to move from a big ass city to a big ass city. It didn't feel like as much of a cultural transition. So for me, it was like, all right, Okayama is a smaller school. There's still some people there. I'll give that a shot. And that's what brought me to the center of Japan.
I mean, and that's pretty good. At a young age, that was a pretty good, you know, self awareness. Of hey, I don't want to end up getting lost, and I mean, I would imagine your experience is gonna be much faster. It's gonna be things are gonna go by quick. Whereas if you go to a place that's a little bit smaller, you can immerse yourself a little bit more. It's probably a little bit more hands on than if you were to be in a big city where it's just like everything's at arm's length. I mean, that's what I would imagine.
What are your three things, Icy?
Okay. Well, Thomas, wait up. Jesus, you're such in a hurry. Have to let the sausages speak. I'm a lady, Let the sausages speak first. But one thing, what was one thing? Okay, one thing is, I'm not sure if this is, I'm not coming from a bad place, but you've said earlier, weeboo. The stereotype of weeboo as we speak is always has been white. So every time I see weeboo that is black, it's and I'm saying, so this is what I'm saying. When you say
It
these
is no.
things, I am being judged as racist because of the Western perspective. But for me as a Japanese, it just seems weird sometimes. Is do you as a person that knows the anime and being otaku about it, do you also see it that way? Or am I
Wait.
tripping?
What is
I
weeble for those of us who don't know?
So weeaboo is basically a pejorative that the Western anime community has taken to put upon itself. It actually comes from this random comic. It was a nonsense word. Uh, it's it's like I forget what it is. It's like some guys are in a board meeting. Some stickers are in a board meeting. The guy's talking, and then somebody says like weeaboo just in their sentence, and then it enrages everybody, and I think makes them throw him out like a window or like tie him up and light him on fire. You can look for the origins of the word, but this is like an ancient this is 4chan era internet terminology, and for a
Mm.
long time the American term for it was Wapanese, which is a white person that swears they're Japanese, which at that point in time, there was a very specific image. It was like the dirty, sticky-looking kids wearing the Naruto headbands and calling each other like Oni-sama and Aniki in like public. And this is predates cringe, but it was cringe back then too. And like
Oh, okay.
that's a whole thing. Weeaboo is more of like it started out equivalent to Japanese, but became more of like a self-effacing term. And it was mostly for like Western, predominantly white anime nerds that had that like kind of like cringy level of fixation with Japan. Nowadays, it's kind of like it's again, it's like it's been reclaimed, I would say, but the original thought process was that weeaboo is white, but that's just because honestly, at that point in time, the vast majority of Western anime fans were white. So like you had a lot of
Hmm.
you had a lot
Yeah,
of
and
people.
now
Yeah,
It's
they're
like
really
a
out.
lot, like if you go to, like, I am friends with a lot of Black Americans that are cosplaying,
Yeah,
and they're
that's
even
way
going
different.
out there like, yeah, that they're wearing like a, even like a normal casual thing, they'll be wearing this, those tight kind of suit that is like
Hmm.
Dragon Ball Z theme. You know how it was a
Sentai
trend?
suit.
Yeah, around
Yeah,
like a normal person. Yeah.
that's so
And so
black.
it's always like, like for me, I always see it, it's almost like become normal for the whites. But when you see it with black, it
It's
always, I'm
new.
not saying it's bad, it's just,
No,
it's always
no, no.
like,
I'm gonna explain
is
to
that
you why
cool to
too
say?
after. No,
Okay,
no, I'm gonna
go
explain to
ahead.
you why. So what you have to understand is that generally speaking, in America, when something falls into the mainstream, it falls into the white mainstream first, correct? So sushi for a long time, black people weren't really rocking with sushi. They weren't trying to use chopsticks. Anime didn't make any sense. Subtitles, et cetera, et cetera. Those things take longer to make it to the urban mainstream because generally when you use soft power to project interest in a country, you do it towards the majority. Majority of America are white. Ergo, a lot of that early weeaboo marketing was almost entirely marketed to white people. I used to be the only black person at an anime convention for like hundreds of people in either direction when I was going back to them back in like between like 2005 and 2010. So it's like we were definitely out there, but we were a much smaller amount. It was way more counterculture, right? Like I used to get shit for when I moved out of like a predominantly Japanese American area. I used to get shit like, bro, you always trying to watch them Chinese cartoons and shit, and it's like, um, I'm. It went from I'm not about to explain that or man, don't worry about it to at some point like maybe around 2009 2010, some of my hood friends would be like, yo, what's this bleach shit, bro? I seen a nigga with a big ass sword cut a dude in half. Like what's a little bit of interest, and then in the last 5 years, around the cusp of the pandemic, it really kind of fell into the mainstream. The biggest sign of that was probably like Megan the Stallion. I think ironically did a lot in the last couple of years to bring it to like deep black mainstream, where black people are like, what the fuck is she doing? What is that? What is she dressed as? And then you have other like black nerds like, oh shit, she's cosplaying Todoroki from like My Hero Academia. So it's just very recently made it into the urban purview. I see. And I think that's why it's thought as more of a white thing, because even in America until now is like being into Japanese anime was like a white thing until the last few years. So I think that does a good chunk of the reasoning why it's so weird. So there's no real word for a black person. That's a weeaboo. It's just you just stick with weeaboo. Some people jokingly use bleaboo, but that's like
Oh, there you go. Because we were talking
yeah.
about it. It's like, why am I gonna call you then? Because it feels so weird if I call you Weeboo. It feels like it's not, like a
Well,
joke.
like
Like it's not.
like
It,
for
it doesn't seem correct, Because now I'm
usually
more, like exposed on what racism is about, and for the most part, it's like you cannot really throw that to Asians when we talk about certain topics, because this is usually what I'm like the LBH in Japan. This is usually their downfall is that they bring their culture in here. So everything they think because it is familiar, like the look or like certain body language they think of, we do as Japanese, they already translate it as being racist when it's not really that. We have different culture going on here. So do not assume that it is that just because that's what you know. The same thing goes for us. It's just more of the exposure and education of different culture. Then you could understand it's not about being racist. It's just both ends just doesn't know any better.
it's
So
just so
those
hard
are the
as
things.
it's just so hard as an American to unwrap that shit from your brain, because we're, especially as a Black American, you're exposed to racism pretty early on in your life, and
every day after that.
You know, and it's really all you know. And for a lot of white Americans hear that and they go, "Oh my God, you're exaggerating," and they really don't understand that it's not just, hey, the Ku Klux Klan is burning crosses on your yard. That's not what we're talking about. It's the little things every day, all day. It's what we see on TV, what we hear on the radio, just the little micro experiences we have in life. So when we go to another country and we feel what we perceive as racism, it's hard to unwrap your head around it. But I totally get what you're saying. I think TJ touched on it earlier too. It's more of a xenophobic thing. It's not as much of a color thing, which there is the color thing. Don't get me wrong, I've heard that too, but do you feel, Isaac, that it's more of a, okay, this person's an American and therefore they're this, or do most Japanese people even differentiate that much to that degree of black, white, Mexican, you know what have you? Do they differentiate that much?
No, but I think it is that's a factor as well. But at the same time, it also depends on where you coming from or where part of Japan you are coming from. Like if
Definitely.
you're the only black person in that town,
In Okayama.
yeah, it's like, okay, what are we talking about? Is this the pre-modern era? Is like, do they have any exposure at all in the social media or in the media, in particular, TV, movies? And we know that stereotype is there, but it doesn't mean it is the real truth. But for people who doesn't know better, of course, that's the only thing they know of. So they would translate it to what it was. Like I had this friend, a Japanese friend, and I introduced him with a black American. And it's so funny because he was like just frozen. He
Mm,
froze. And I was like,
wow.
What's going on?" He's like, "I don't know." It's like, "I'm scared." It's like, "Why the fuck are you scared?"
Damn.
Because
Hey, he's been honest.
this whole time, yeah, the how your media in America portray black is, you know what I'm saying, right? So he just
Crazy.
doesn't know how
Crazy.
to act.
Fantastic. Yeah. And it's wild because for a long time, a lot of people's only exposure, or Japanese people's exposure to Americans were either soldiers, if you live in like Okinawa near Yokosuka or Aomori, or like, TV, or like basketball a lot of times, or hip hop videos. So like when I got to Okayama in 2009, 10, 2010, uh, no, nine, one or two. Anyway, 2010 for sure. There was like, there weren't a ton of black people around. It's like maybe me, one other person in my university program. That was an undergrad transfer, an African cat. That was a doctoral transfer. I think I saw two additional black people in this entire town of 700,000. So
Damn.
that means you make up less than 100,000th of the population. You're going to draw some eyesight. I could tell you hilarious stories, and most of them aren't from racism. It's just a lot of times I'm the first black person somebody's ever seen, and they were just minding their own business. They had no preempt. A good example: Japan. A lot of McDonald's are multi-level. So at street level, you'll have downstairs that go to the ordering section, and you'll have upstairs that go to like the expanded seating area. They might have a couple counters around the actual dining section, but a lot of Japanese McDonald's, at least in big cities, separate that area up a little bit. I'm going to this job before I lost it for implying that Japanese people had gays. I'm going down. I'm going to go grab some quick Macdo on my way to work. Uh, I'm going down the stairs. A guy's coming up the stairs on the phone. I'm talking on my phone. He's talking on his phone. I like do a quick glance. Bro, his eyes are locked. Eyes are locked. We're traveling opposite directions up the stairs. Eyes are eat shit.
What the hell
I'm,
just happened?
I'm still watching, bro. He's still looking at me, and then he like dusts himself up and gets up and fucks. I didn't even get a chance to Daijobu, bro. Um, but yeah, you get. I got a few of those. Blapanese, no, nobody. Blapanese is wild. Blapanese is what?
Damn.
Blapanese
Damn.
sounds like you just really into busting gats. That doesn't even sound like half black, half Japanese. It's like, yo, I'm from the streets, boy. I'm Blapanese. Like that's what that sounds like. But yeah, no, it's wild. I used to get a bunch, and obviously I understood and spoke a bit of Japanese, so I would catch people's like offhand, like surprising comments about me appearing. But when I
Wait,
got the
so what
most, I'm
was what
sure.
was LBH?
Oh, losers back home.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I've heard that one.
Mm. But oh yeah, it is. Yo, if you find anybody that's buying rap lyrics in 2025, holler at your boy. But to answer your question, I'm gonna get
It's
better
so
at.
weird that I always feel like I'm not really good at social media, and I'm hearing Cisco. What is this? What is this? It's like, how is this going?
Damn. Well, you got to
Hey,
remember, I'm
hey,
twice. I'm twice your
we're
age.
trying
I'm
to
like
teach
twice your
you.
right.
age.
And leave my big bro alone. He just trying to keep up.
No, it's just
With
because
changing
I
times.
usually just hear this as well, these terms that I'm saying. This is like uh like a passed on as well when I started streaming. So I started to like look it up, except for the weeboo thing, because I'm
Yeah.
Japanese and that's how we call them anyways. But
Right.
yeah, it's just
Damn.
weird. But the LBH is I've just learned it. Like even Passport Bros is like I just learned it through streaming. If I'm not streaming, I probably wouldn't even come like know this term exists or the LBH thing
Oh yeah,
because I'm
no
not
doubt.
really into trend. Yeah, I'll stay
Yeah,
away
no
from
same.
trends and viral. It's just I feel like I'm gonna like lose a brain cell if I follow
But
just
you know what's
honestly
crazy?
speaking. Mm.
You know what's crazy is the internet is just making it so much harder for like you to have your like own thing. Like where I grew up, LA, there's certain things we would say. Bay Area, there's certain things they would say, and now it's like
Slang has
everybody
been
instantly knows the slang,
globalized, right?
yeah, and it comes and goes so quickly. Whereas back in the day, you'd have a word that was slang that people would use for 2-3 years, and it was still cool. Now it's like something's dumb after like 6 months. And that's the internet doing that. It is. It's crazy.
I think people get more of a chance to switch through regional terminology now. Like,
Oh, definitely.
your like existed, dead ass, stuff like that existed before the internet, but before like TikTok and Reels and shit got big, you didn't realize as a whole group of people that were just out there saying that shit. And it starts sounding cool to you, and that's how people start picking up little bits of slang. I remember when I used to say bruv or in that, people would automatically assume that I or like my like direct family were British because that wasn't like a thing that people were saying in memes or sketches or whatever. This
Hmm.
is 10, 15 years ago. But now, you say that you think somebody's doing like a character or a meme or some shit like that, or you'd be like, or something like that. So it's definitely globalization has globalized slang a lot. I think there's still really hyper regionalized stuff that just there's always going to be some shit that doesn't pop on. Like I still would have to explain to somebody that's not my age or from the same part of me like what ripper slippers are. But other people have different names for like those little thin ass house shoes that girls used to buy from the swap meet back in the 2000s. Uh, but we have you have different terminology for that sort of stuff
Like the
everywhere.
little gels you talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Little shits are made out of look like they're made out of panty fabric.
Well, what I find interesting is that nowadays you really have to, like, if you're talking and expressing something, you have to clarify the context for me because I feel every single person is subjective. This word is subjective. You can't say this word. You can what? Yeah, how about you shut the fuck up and just listen to me you know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But second, my second point is, so you know how politics is going on all over the world. So I'm not sure. So please do your cross reference about this. But if you know someone who's very smart and just wanted to get out of America, Japan is open for it. We're actually calling people, especially Americans who are smart, to come to Japan, and they will have benefits when it comes to visa and shit. So I'm not deep, like, I didn't really read every little thing or dig deep into it, but it's all over the news here in Japan. So if you know somebody that wanted to be in Japan and they think they're smart and they have all the qualifications, maybe they should figure out that thing. Because
When
we're
you
basically hiring, we're
when
open for business.
when you say smart, do you mean educated like college people, or do you mean smart
She means
like
highly skilled. Uh,
entrepreneurial, skilled
Highly
people?
skilled. Yeah, highly
yeah,
Uh,
skilled, all of that
Japan.
stuff.
does
Yeah.
mukbanging
Japan.
count as a skill?
Not yet, but give it a few years, and Japanese are gonna keep loosening the definition. Because what's happening right now is that the Japanese government and its older half of society is desperately trying to come to the reckoning that their population is aging way past replacement levels, and it's like they want to bring more people in, but they kind of like don't want the gross shitty. Like they want immigrate, they want very selective immigration, so they're trying these little programs out, like if
That's
you're
what I
really
said.
smart, you could
I
come.
think the world has to learn a little bit how to be Japanese, you know? Make your people smart. And I'm coming
I
from a good place. I'm not
I would
saying
agree with
these
that.
people are dumb. I'm just
Mhm.
saying, if you know what I'm saying, you know. So, yeah.
There's definitely good aspects of Japanese culture that America could use. I mean, consideration, courtesy, you know, self responsibility. You know, not just throwing your trash on the ground and leaving it for somebody else to pick up. Yeah, those are definitely things that we could use for sure.
Yeah, I think I get it, but it is definitely like it's getting to a beggars can't be choosers sort of level where like Japan's like, all right, like we'll take the, but you have to be like really smart and like funny. You have to have money already, and we really like you to have like a nice career, and that's fine right now. But another decade of the population replacement level dropping because it's not. It's like it's at negative replacement and it's still going down like as we speak, which is insane. So like for them, it's gonna be like next to like okay, kind of smart people come through, but like if it doesn't start fixing itself in 20 years, it's just like people,
I
anyone?
mean, you even said it. You know, there it's a very homogenous society, and I mean, I would ask Icy, like, is that a consideration? I mean, that yeah, okay, we realize we have this problem, and we're going to try to be selective with who we're bringing in here, but is that even something that's even a big consideration that well okay, like say for instance TJ came across, he's an intelligent person, skilled person. Is TJ the kind of person they're looking for, or would it be somebody else that maybe is not quite as let's say ethnic?
Hmm. I
You know what?
oh,
I
oh I see
I
jump
was
in.
actually always being thrown at this to a point where some people would always trigger me with that 70,000. They're paying $70,000 or 70,000. How much it is? Whatever it is, amount, a huge amount of money just to make babies in Japan or something like that. And it just really, it's not pissing me off. It's just more of like, there's a lot of factors that comes to play with this one, and it's like for me to say something, this is what's happening and this is not, little things. It's like we have to be at least educated enough with the whole economics and all of that shit and what comes to play with it. We understand that, no one is having sex in Japan. We understand that. But at the same time, it's like, what is the really root of the problem? And I think that's the part where the government is seeing the root of the problem. That's why they even implemented like they actually forced people to take a day off, for we will pay you, take a day off. It's mandatory. And a lot of my Japanese coworkers will be like, but we don't want to. What are we going to do? So it's like a whole thing. There's
Wow.
a huge factor. It's just not that go produce babies. So it's like super dumb to me when people think just produce baby. Look at the Philippines. They're always producing babies. What's happening to the economy? There's a lot of multiple factors that has to be played part. And for us, at least me, for me as an average person who doesn't have an academic, background to everything that comes to play in this, I don't think I have something to say about it because that's where the government, society, everyone is involved in this one. So,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's pretty much what I could say. It's so easy to pinpoint not having
I
sex,
mean,
what's the problem?
as a
Or not
Japanese
producing
person with
baby,
a
what's the
taco,
problem?
what do you think it is then? Like, I mean, just what you don't have to have an over. I mean, we're not saying for your academic period, but as a person with a vagina living in Japan, like, what do you think are some? Because I can drone on and on about what academically I believe some of the factors to be in the Japanese lost decade and how that's essentially only 40 years removed from now. So
Yeah,
that
but
means
that's
an
the
entire
thing,
generation of
TJ, to
adults for
me.
posterity. Yeah.
But that's the thing to me, TJ. It's like as a person with a taco, also
Mhm.
having kids of my own, it's like I don't feel it in a society level. I don't feel we are having problems. We're
Okay.
taking off our elders. But this is the question that I always say. The problem that they are saying is because to ratio it with seniors, old people, to young people who would be the next generation to make sure these people are being taken care of, that's the factor of it. So for me to ask me my personal opinion is kind of like irrelevant with the real problem, which is the future. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not too hard to produce kids, I'll probably produce kids every fucking year because I like being a mother. But it's not the case. Kids are hard. It's not just financial, it's emotional investment. Everything is involved. So for me, I take too much of a deal about it just to throw it, which is what I think about the world is. They love to talk about politics and they don't understand what is really going on, as if whatever they know and whatever they watch on TV is the only truth. It's like, do you even know economics? Do you even have political science? Do you understand what's going on for real? Or you're just listening to whatever you're, I'd like an echo chamber. So for me, it's really hard, at least for me, to just say opinion and then not having a real thing to back it up. Because then you're gonna stray away with the root of the problem. Do you get what I'm
And yeah,
saying?
definitely, and especially as somebody in Tokyo. I mean, your background as to why. I mean, for one, Tokyo is aging a lot less slowly than the vast majority of Japan. That's you're probably you go to Tokyo, you see young people everywhere, all the day, every time, all over the place, wherever. So it's like, the bigger
Exactly.
cities, I think it's harder to really see that happening because people are still going through their big city life. But what Americans have and what other countries have a hard time, I think, understanding is that the vast majority of Japan doesn't look like, a Tokyo or an Osaka or Kyoto, right? It looks like Hamamatsu. It looks like Iwate. It looks like Aomori.
Exactly.
Like,
And whose
and
standards are we talking about when these people keep talking about it online? Oh, they have a problem with babies, blah, blah. Who are these people? Who are they comparing it to? What are the legitimately concerns do they have for it? You
Hey,
know what
where's
I'm
it where's it coming
saying?
from? Is that the government putting that out there, or is that Western
well, all
media?
Well,
Or
because it's dropping. Like the statistics, of course, we have statistics. It is dropping. It is a problem. But my problem is when people started to pitch in when they don't have
why?
anything relevancy to say, you know?
Mm,
So it's like if you're gonna talk about this, I hope we talk about like real problem and not just like belittling how Japan is not having sex, belittling how Japanese are not doing this. Like, do you really understand the pressure we as Japanese are going through for you to just say, produce more babies? It's easy for you to say. Those little things that it just really rubs me the wrong way sometimes.
Now we
mm.
need a Korean on here to tell you about that Japanese don't have it that hard, and how Korea has it way harder in traditional Korean fashion.
Exactly. So it's
No,
like,
but it's a scary realization though, because it's like for so long the Japanese government was pushing like the nuclear family, like don't have 3 million babies. Like again, we're gonna get into it a little bit, but end of the '80s, beginning of the '90s in Japan was the Japanese lost decade socioeconomically. They were preaching austerity because the market was, or the economy was collapsing in the country. It's like, don't have 8 kids, dog. We don't have no money. But now Japan does have money, but that's only one generation removed. Those people that they told that to are just having kids that are around our age now. So as a result, they've only really grown up with the, hey, don't have 83 babies. My mom didn't have 8 kids. I don't have 8. I have one sibling. My friend has one sibling. Everybody has one sibling. And it's been a really hard push for Japan to look at its replacement level, because there's a mathematical number of births per 100,000 people, or births per capita, at which point you're not able to sustain your population level. In some places, that's a really good thing. In places like Japan, where there's a big emphasis on butts and desks doing a lot of the hard work for the country, you need more young adults, which means you need more kids, which means
hmm
you need more
And I
babies.
imagine there's not a lot of immigration into Japan, which is another
Exactly.
problem.
Because Japan has never really needed it. It's economically successful without immigration.
Yep.
They've been a cultural powerhouse without it. They have a huge amount of soft power. Up until they stopped having the right amount of babies, there wasn't really anything to be trying to invite people into the country for. And also, again,
hmm
we're 80 years removed from World War II. There's still a lot in this region. Just we don't feel it in America because we live in America, but in the region, there's still trepidation. Like there's only so much Chinese movement in and out of Japan and China. There's only so many Koreans moving out of those places. It's not to say they're sealed off or anything, but those are all relatively cultural homogenous places that are right next to one another. So it's tough to really understand. And what's funny is all three of them are going through population crises, but for entirely different reasons. So there's no one size fits all solution to this. But like, it's been such a pain for mainstream politicians to figure that out that it's come off, I think, a lot of times as heavy handed. Like the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, uh, they were like, the Japanese were making memes about how badly he wanted other Japanese people to reproduce and like fix the population level. But like prime minister before that, it wasn't Jesus. I finally forgot the prime minister before Abe. Good job. I'm becoming more American. It wasn't as big of a deal. So it's tough to put it on one thing because it's happening all across the region for multiple things. But there's also, it's hard to just tell people just start doing foreigners, just start humping. We'll figure it out, because
Yeah.
that's again when you have kind of a culturally isolationist history, it's tough to suddenly turn around and say, never mind, everybody was actually a okay the entire time. Mate with who you want. Like even in America, look at how long of a pushback we had towards interracial marriage, and like we were in the country with them for a while. We're trying to pump in crowd noise, so to speak, as far as Japan's going. Is you can't expect the Japanese to just be like, oh, okay, let's get the fucking guys. Like us, culturally,
Change gears.
culturally. Don't get me wrong, they're doing a lot of fucking and a lot of cheating. Oh, so much cheating. God, so much cheating. A
We're
prodigious
just
amount of cheating.
it's like that what I'm saying. It's like everything every people in the online is like this and that. It's just like, are you in their bedroom? Are you with them every like 24 hours? Do you really know them? It's like Jesus. And then obviously all the dum dums was like, yeah, 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 because all the dum dums, they're not getting pussies. They're not getting tacos. Of course, there's a lot of people like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, oh my God. Like shut up sometimes.
What all
You
I'm
know.
taking from this is that you need to be hard at work, making sure that nobody misunderstands the Japanese birth rate. That means you better just You gotta just tell everybody that you're having a bunch of sex. I'm sorry, it's not my rule. It's basically Japan is making the rule now. But it does sound like in order to get the solution you want, you're gonna have to just come on stream after you're done reading books and remind us that the Japanese are capable of that too. You gotta carry your weight. Matter of fact, replacement level's a little low. You should actually be doing it about twice as much as you actually are right now. Why are you still here?
I mean, is this something that the average Japanese person on the street is like thinking about or obsessing over or, concerned about
No.
or yeah, I wouldn't think
I'm
so.
trying to go to work. But yeah,
I mean, for one, as a sexually active human being, I do find it interesting that some of the dudes are being too soft, you know? It's like, but at the same time, we have this culture. It's not like, actually, this is a true story. We were talking about it. It's like, you know what's weird? We realized in Japan, before you even get to date somebody, you have to have this. You see this in anime if you're an anime person, because it's real. Like, this is actually a process when you're dating. There's like a step by step formality. In America, it's like sometimes you already kiss the girl, and it's like, oh, we're boyfriend. No, in Japan, it's like, okay, you're gonna date, hang out with each other, and then you have to profess that you like them. And this is such a big deal. It's kind of like a ceremony or something in their own little way. And then after that, they're gonna have to like formally courting each other, but they're not boyfriend or girlfriend. They're just saying they like each other if it's mutual. Then after that, then they'll get to a point where finally they would say like, okay, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, but they've never kissed yet. It goes to another level and another level and another level, and it's a process. But in America and other countries, it's usually like you hang out, you kiss. Sometimes some people already fuck, and then they become boyfriend or girlfriends. There are little things like that in Japan that takes place. You know,
although you guys do
you can
have
see
no
it as a good
shortage,
or a bad thing, but it depends on people, I guess.
you have no shortage of like in the big cities, Tokyo and Osaka. You have gaijin hunters of both sexes for sure.
Of
It's
course.
just
That's why I
they're
said
just the
another thing.
minority,
Yeah, another thing is like people, I've seen a lot of foreigners here bitching about it. You see it everywhere on social media, like, oh, this guy's in the hunter, blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, you're supposed to be happy they're there. Because if they're not
right?
there, you're
Right?
not gonna get a fuck. It's like, what's
Right?
wrong
Yeah.
with you? Do you
You
want to
don't
get
speak enough
married to them?
Japanese, right?
Exactly. Have
Yeah.
fun.
Even dating in Japan was wild, even as a university student, because like the expectation as a foreigner or Ryugakse is that you don't speak a shit ton of Japanese, but you still need a decent amount in order to communicate with another 20 something. Because a 20 something Japanese person has also only studied English for like 2.5 years half heartedly. So it's like, if you're not in a big city, like that's not going to be a problem. That's why you tell those guys, oh, you're having gaijin hunters problems? Just go to the city outside of your city. I bet you'll never see that shit again.
Yeah. And at the
But
same time, it's like, like if you really are confident that you have the skill, you can turn this Gaijin hunter to a wife if you want to, if that's really your goal. But then they'll be, but I don't want it because it's been fucked by others. It's like, what is wrong with you? Then what do you really want? you
yeah,
know?
at that
So
point, you
it's
start
like,
to get into
shut
dudes that are
up.
living a fantasy life. That's like,
Yeah.
oh, I want a pure, pristine.
And then you get to see all of these dum dums get together, and then because they have the same sentiment and it fits the narrative, then you create a whole dum dum of people, and then it becomes viral. And that's the view of Japanese. It's like, oh my god, there you go again.
Oh shit! 1 second.
Okay, is that too harsh, TJ?
No, I was gonna say
Okay.
it kind of carries on to what we were saying about in Blizzard's chat the other day, right? Like an
Mm-hmm.
echo chamber is very easy to form. You just have to find some other dumbasses with the same dumbass opinion as your dumbass, and then all you dumbasses dumbass at each other. And then you start thinking, well, this isn't just me. These other people think it too. So there must be some truth there. And then you go find out some other dumb, and now you have a community. And it's like you have a
Yeah,
terrible idea, but all of you have the same terrible idea. So now it's like we can't be wrong. There's more than one of us that thinks it. Everyone else is wrong.
yeah.
That's how
That's
you end
why
up
we
with
have
that all
to
the
push
time.
back. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm part of the smart ones, but at least you guys, if you really think you're the smart ones, push back. I know there's frustrations, there's fatigue. I've seen a lot of people that I think are really smart and they will be able to lead, but because they're so frustrated and just too tired, they end up being with themselves. They're gonna stay in their lane, do whatever they need to do, and that's it. But I think we need people to push back because dum-dums are procreating and you don't want a
God,
lot
are
of
they ever?
dum-dums in the world.
You seen that movie Idiocracy?
Oh yeah, it's happening right now.
I mean that movie is, I mean, it is prophetic. I mean,
Distressingly
it's
prescient.
they definitely
Yes.
nailed it. I mean, there's no doubt
Hmm.
about it. You know,
Yep,
that's exactly
Distressingly.
what's happening.
it is.
And it's scary because, that's the thing too, is that you feel like we're fighting a losing battle. I'm right there with you. I don't look at myself as, one of the elite minds of, the West, but I mean, I
Same
think
thing.
I'm an above average intelligent person, and it's
Same
depressing
thing.
that, it's depressing because you feel like you're fighting a losing battle because there's just so much stupidity out there,
There's so much
and willful
dumb shit.
ignorance,
And it's like
you
a
know.
fire hose of dumb shit now too. So it's like
And
How do you fight
you
back against all of it? It's just gonna be there. It's gonna be that way, and we're just delaying it, I guess, is what it feels like. I hate to be like, fatalist defeatist.
specificity.
I
What's
mean,
that?
I would hate to be defeatist too. I wish that shit wasn't true.
Yeah, but I have hope. If you don't have hope, the place would be a sad, sad life.
No,
So
I
I will
definitely have
start
hope.
to have fantasizing hope. At least it keeps me sane. Let's just put it that way.
There's nothing wrong with that. Whatever gets you through the day, honestly. And hey, on that note, I am going to go eat food now
Oh my
because
god,
this
we're just
this L,
starting.
this LOL let me do a stream as a joke for 12 minutes, extended to 3 hours, and uh,
Your life has been
as
longer than Cal's
Well,
life.
I told you I'm just gonna be in the background. But you keep
I'm
insisting, 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 and now
I
I'm
enjoy
here.
it
Now we're gonna
though.
say goodbye. Oh my
For me,
god.
this is nice because it's like this is all the people I talk to in Blizz and Cal's chat anyway, minus the people that I don't want to talk to. So this is great.
Ooh,
I won't.
name.
Facts,
I
facts.
won't. No, I won't say we won't do this again, but I will say it'll be like if Calvin's internet explodes or something, then
Yeah,
maybe I'll
Beach
get
of
on.
Life is really bad. It didn't come up. Or Thomas.
He-
Even Thomas seems to probably ooze off or something. But
Thomas is he's
SOS is
working his way
still
up.
there.
Thomas is
If
Yeah.
working his
if
way up.
if you were wish he had shown up cam off, and kept talking that risque shit, Thomas was like, I got time, I'm on my way,
No,
I'm on my way,
I don't want Thomas hot and heavy. Have boundaries.
Good,
Wow.
good. It's
I'm a
better
lady.
for everyone's
Hot
heart
and
pressure rate. That's
right.
Damn.
oh,
No, but I get it. Also, the third point, I think Thomas didn't had patience to wait to the third point. I don't remember
good.
anymore, so it's fine.
No, you have to remember it now, and then when you do your live, I will come back so I can hear your third point.
Yeah. Tomorrow, I'm not
Uh,
even sure if I just want to chat and chill. But I have members only after that. So if you guys are free, feel free to come up and talk to me in the panel. You know, it's just chill. It's members only, anyways. Anything
I might
can
just do
goes.
that. I have to switch back out because my original IC membership was a gift, and the card on there is my American card. I have to switch back to my Viet card because Google won't accept any of my American cards now that I switched to the Vietnamese store. Didn't think that through.
Yeah.
It did not think that through.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
but yeah, I'm gonna go fix that in a couple. I was trying to figure out on my phone last night. I was like, I see
Look
the
at
membership.
Thomas.
I see join. I can't join. Hey, spun the block.
What
Ravioli,
did you say?
ravioli.
Thomas is back.
Yes, sir.
You
Yeah.
thought he
So
did
Big
that.
Thomas,
T.
you have to be
Spinning the
there,
block.
Thomas. So I can show you a moose knuckle. Let me see
Wow.
whoever's
Pardon?
What the hell?
You're going to show him a what now?
earlier. He's like,
Oh
"Are you
no.
gonna show it to me?" He's like,
All right.
"A moose knuckle? Okay, let me find a moose knuckle and I'll show it to you."
Jesus, I wasn't
Jeez.
emotionally ready for that announcement. Um, well, on that note, stay tuned later for Icy's
Yeah.
third point and possible moose knuckle. Uh,
No
What a
tacos.
cliffhanger.
No tacos. Yes. So Thomas, you have to be a member of mine for you to know that. But
special
anyways,
Thomas only broadcast. We need one additional Thomas for that to make work.
but thank you, Cisco, as well for being a member, and thank you guys to Beach of Life. Thank you as well to you. I do see you, and I'm gonna get
I
out of
want to
here
see
too.
it.
Thank you to
I want
y'all.
to
If
see
Wishy
it.
comes back
Moose
here
knuckles.
again,
Oh my god.
thank
Yeah,
thank
I gotta
thank
go now. I gotta
thank
go
fellow
now.
Bye
Moose
bye,
Knuckle Traveler
ciao.
Wishy. And yeah, the homies. Thank y'all for coming out. We'll catch you when I catch you.
All right.
Bye
Hey, see y'all later. You guys
bye.
be safe.
Hasta la bye bye.
Deuces.
And we out.